All right. And we are live. The Last Word with Lord Cognito and Ibantis special Friday night campfire. What's going on, E?
It is after hours and we got an awesome guest in the house. So we're going to talk about everything in the world of Destiny with a man who is a veteran of the game, been around in this thing for a very long time. But we got to see if we can make him blush. So it's back to you, sir.
Let's do it. Welcome to The Last Word, episode number 110. It's another glorious Friday night. And we're back in front of the campfire for some more looter shooter discussion. I'm extremely excited about our special guest, so we're going to get right into it. I want to introduce a Lord who is not only a pleasure to interact with in our Destiny community, but always provides a safe haven of chill vibes. Whether it be his sick Crucible gameplay clips or attention to detail within the lore, there's no question regarding his passion for the Destiny franchise. Introducing the creator and host of the NemPlays YouTube and Twitch channels, the Edgelord who always embraces the ways of the void, and my fellow warlock brethren who always remains anti-meta. Live from Cali and kind enough to make his debut at the campfire of The Last Word, my man, Lord NemPlays. How you doing, sir?
What's going on, man?
What's going on, man? We got warlock royalty in here, man.
More titles than I have in Destiny right now, and kind of overwhelmed.
All right, we'd like to make you feel welcome, man. Welcome home. We got the after hours campfire, literally evening campfire, so it's actually the right time of day.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir, man.
Appreciate
How
you
been,
guys working around my crazy schedule. Like we were talking about this before the show started. We've been trying to get this to happen for so long.
Yeah. Lord time.
Hey, glad we made it work. Yeah, it was like we've chatted way too much to not make this happen. So glad we got it to work out. So
absolutely, man. So a lot of Destiny been going on. I've been seeing. So just enjoying the season so far. How we feeling with the rifles? How we feeling?
Honestly, a lot better than I did with Worthy.
It's a low bar, I'll be honest. That's a low bar. Hold on, make sure screen way down here in the grass.
Like I if I'm being realistic, I think within the first week of Season of Arrivals, I probably played more than I played through like the Season of the Worthy entirety.
Damn.
Facts.
Yeah. And like, don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to knock Season of the Worthy, but I knew that the big ticket item for that season was going to be trials.
Yeah.
That's not my demographic. So
I feel you.
I kind of just sat it out, played some PvP with friends for the most part, and that was really it.
No doubt.
Well,
so let's start. I was
just gonna say, I noticed you got a nice little. I can't look at the title screen the same way anymore, thanks to a nice little shout out recently. So I had to. I wanted to start there because I can't even look at the game differently now from what you made me look at from the music. So explain what I'm talking about for those who don't know, may not know on Twitter. What revelation came to you recently?
So during one of the runs of the new dungeon Prophecy, after the second encounter, which is the big cube room, you can find the emissary in the wasteland. And if you approach her, she'll have different lines of dialogue, either for you and for the people that are in your party. They'll hear different things. But I got an interesting clip this past week where Drifter and Eris talk about. Drifter asks her if she ever sang a song to Shax, and she of course dismisses him. She's like, "That dude, it's like a stupid question. Come on, really?"
Yeah.
And it turns out that she didn't. So when she realizes it, that he obviously that Shax must have heard something. She repeats the hum, and Drifter's like, "Yeah, that's the one." And it turns out that is a viral chant by Savathun. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And this is where it gets interesting. So, in the previous season, I want to say it was season of Dawn. I'm sure you guys remember the Devil's Ruin.
One of my favorite lore dialogue quests between 3 Titans and my man Osiris. Continue. 2 Titans.
Well, then you're going to be familiar with the fact that Shax sings a certain song. So when you go back and you listen to that, he is singing in a very specific hum, which is the same one that Eris talked about. So our boy Shax is under some sort of influence by Ahamkara and Savathun, because the skull that he has up there, that is an Ahamkara skull.
Yes, very deep revelation. Because continue. No, please go on then.
Oh, I was gonna say, but that particular song has been in there much longer than Season of Dawn. Savathun's song has been there since Shadowkeep's launch because it's the main menu theme.
Yep. Ding, ding, ding. That was crazy. I was going through the article and just like the clips you had, and then it's the menu screen. I was like, are you kidding me right now? Like that was so cool. What is it? The moon's made of cheese or whatever. I forget the lyrics, like, but just the tone is consistent all throughout those. I'm going, honestly, Bungie's good about the long game. So if you're sitting there looking at the title screen, I'm like, they planned this crap for a year. Bro. Of course they did. I was like, they got 3 more years planned out, but just planting that seed, dude. Man, big long con, seriously.
What's funny because like, I was playing with Shiv during that dungeon, and when I heard that particular line, I'm like, I know I've heard that somewhere.
Yep.
And I started going back. I went all the way back to like Taken King soundtracks and stuff like that because I'm like, I know I've heard that. Where the hell have I heard that hum? And I started going through like some of the more like recent events, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold up,
Shadowkeep.
Let's go. It started like I saw the Osiris one first, right? And then I'm like, okay, it's definitely that, but I know I've heard that. That's a song somewhere. And I brought up the soundtrack, and sure enough, the first one's the Shadowkeep. It's there.
It's boom right in your face.
The viral chant that you cannot unhear. It's there,
dude. It's amazing. And again, while I was trying to tell people, actually, me and Paul had gotten into it about the Devil's Ruin quest when it first came out, because obviously on lordsofgaming.net, he had an article first, and kind of, I don't say trashing it, but just like, it's average, whatever. And for me, I had made an article like, why I love it. And I said, because I love the dialogue between characters. We don't get enough of that, to see how they would interact. Obviously, Saint's been going a long time and stuff like that. And so then Paul hit me, he's like, you know what? You got it right. I see where you're coming from. Because a lot of people were upset at that quest. Remember, they were like, oh, the gun was given away so easy. And I said, you guys are missing the point. It's about the lore. It's about these conversations. And at the end, Saint had, remember, Shax owed the bet to Saint. Yeah. The bet was to sing the song. And at first, we just thought it was goofy, right? We just like, oh, it's some goofy. Yep. Yeah, it's some goofy thing he's got to do. We all laughed at Shax for jumping out of character. It was the normal tough guy Titan have to sing the song. So, okay, boom. And then now, again, I do Prophecy this weekend. This all ties into me because I literally did Prophecy. Shout out to Josh Red, whose name I got to clear because we definitely got the Prophecy dungeon done. I was calling him out, but he's forgiven. So, but anyway, so we got it done, and I was in that part in the desert, and I remember, and I'm just like, holy! And then you see that conversation between Eris and the Drifter, and she's like, dark relics are awakening amongst the whole system that Savathun is using. And I also heard some stuff. I shout out to Bife. It's one of the lore pieces. I forgot specifically where, but basically it was to the effect like, he's been targeted. Shax has been targeted by Savathun. And the vibe is that, he still has some issues. There's some darkness in him. Like there's some things going on with him. So she's selecting certain targets. And I'm also curious about this in conjunction with all the eyes that we're seeing on all the planets. We still don't know. I'm assuming those are like her watching in, using those, So it's cool, man. I like where this is going. I love storytelling like this, subtle clues. It's fun, man.
Have you noticed the placements of the eyes, though?
Yes. Did you? I noticed one's on Mercury, right in that lost sector, and what you call it? It seems like every planet that seems to be going is it's an eye there. I noticed that.
Yes, sir. I'm very intrigued how they're going to do that lore wise. How they're going to remove the how they're going to remove those planets, because so I haven't looked into it too much because I tend to like avoid spoilers now that I kind of took a step back from like the creating and the news and stuff like that. But I have heard that there's a pretty pretty interesting quest down the line that involves all those planets.
Yeah, we had Jarvan a couple weeks ago, and we talked briefly about just the idea of, I'm going to say one word related to it, and this isn't that much of a spoiler, hopefully, but if you want to avoid it, shut your ears for like 5 seconds. The word evacuation.
Yes.
And that's the big one that everybody seems to wonder, because you have, NPCs on these planets that if the planet's going away, hopefully there's some lores to how these NPCs hopefully survive whatever happens to these planets.
Yeah.
Maybe they bail, maybe they don't. And then you've got finally, at least we actually saw the update today in game. We are going to Titan with the Contact, but public event next week. I was waiting on that one because it's a 15-week season, which is long generally, even for them. But if it was going to be 3 weeks, because we've got Io, Titan, still got to get through Mars, Mercury, and the Leviathan. Now, Leviathan may just like drive away. I don't know what's going to happen there. Still curious how that one's going to handle, because that's its thing in itself. But we have 4 planets, and it was like, if it's 4 weeks per, it'll fit, I guess, still. So I was curious how they were going to time it, and we know Titan's coming, but we haven't seen another pyramid ship come on yet, so I can't wait to see what the one on Titan from the trailer, just staring square at it, looks really, really cool.
That looks intimidating, dude.
Yes.
It's just like staring right here down the barrel of a gun, basically. It's kind of, intimidating is the right word, because it's huge in that skybox.
I'm curious whether the pyramid that's currently on Io itself, if that one is going to move to Titan, or if it's another one that is going to enter the atmosphere.
That's what I'm hoping.
What would you prefer?
Titan. I would prefer having another one come in, because I mean, we saw the fleet that was basically being teased all throughout season of the Worthy.
50.
There's a lot of ships.
Oh yeah, I ended up counting, I think, like 50 plus by the time we were all done. 50 plus.
I want them pulling up. I want them pulling up on every planet. That's what I want.
Yeah, I was like, there was 50. I think you guys can find 4 to park around here. So.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
So that's a lot of ships, dude.
A lot of ships.
Exa, Stark is asking, have you talked about wanting to live on the pyramid yet?
Is this a thing, Nem? Should we know about this? Oh, yeah, it's a thing. Look at his face. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Stark, you know you would too, so shut up.
Please explain, because is it just the fact that it is a triangle, so edges are everywhere, or?
Oh my god.
We going down the rabbit hole. Let's go.
I'm just gonna shake my fist at Pino, because he's the one who started that.
Shout out to Pino. So what's the science behind these pyramid living, man? What's going on? Break it down.
So I've always had like this one of an alliance system between Destiny, and we kind of got a tease of it with the Season of the Drifter with the Alliance.
Yes.
The Alliance quest. So the fact that we now are kind of more leaning towards using that particular power, it would be cool to see almost like a split between the Vanguard, choosing to like stay away from it, and then Guardians who are actually, yo, that's dope, hand it over. So, I fall into that particular side. So, it'd be cool to like, if there was ever like a split like that, to have a hub, like a social hub within like one of those pyramids. I mean, we have one on the moon, so.
It is interesting, man. I mean,
another question from the audience. Does the pyramid ship have a food court?
I'm done. They out of control right now.
We got Nim's crew in chat. We gotta spread some love out there.
I would hope so.
Food court of Oryx. Yo, I'm done. Pablito, yo, you stupid.
Bro, that was in the Dreadnought.
Yeah, exactly.
No doubt.
Yeah, you got Vex milk as your beverage of choice. So. Taken butter. Oh, yeah. All those things are coming out there. So chat's getting a little weird. You guys are killing me right now. Time to heckle Nim.
Yes.
Wow, toxic.
So speaking of which, man, the question I had to ask for you just was like, from the beginning, like, why Destiny? Like, why? We always tend to ask a lot of the guests, like, what was the attraction that make you say, yo, I'm in love with this game. I want to commit to this game.
Fun fact, there wasn't initially.
Me too. Being you share this. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
Break it down.
So my good buddy, Ashen, him and I, we used to work together, and he's a big Bungie guy. He loved all the Halos, and he grew up with them. And I believe his dad actually also edited, I think, Halo 2's documentaries or something.
Oh, nice.
So it was like a big deal for him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was looking forward towards Destiny, and at the time, pretty much the game that I played like almost as much as I play Destiny now used to be Call of Duty. So I come from like Modern Warfare 2.
Modern Warfare, oh yeah.
Yeah.
And it's golden era right there.
I spent some ungodly amount of time in Black Ops 1 and 2.
Oh yeah.
And he was like super into the game, and the night that the game launched, I'm never gonna forget this story, because it was just kind of like, it was how it started. I was clocking into work and he was clocking out, and he was like, "What are you doing after work?" I'm like, "Probably I'm just gonna go home and chill." And he's like, "All right, well, you're not anymore. you're gonna come with me. GameStop is doing the midnight release for Destiny 1. They're gonna have food, then they're gonna have like handouts and stuff like that, so we can hang out there." I was like, "All right, cool." I had played the beta,
right?
But I wasn't. It was like, all right, it was fun, but to me, it was just another shooter. I was like, I don't know if I want to commit to like another shooter, especially one with like abilities and stuff like that. I was just kind of like, it was fun, but it wasn't really like my thing. But that same night, we were in line, because he got the big edition, and he was just like looking at me as like people they're taking in, and he's like, "Nem, you got to get it."
And I was like, pressure.
Yeah, I was like, I don't want to. He's like, "Buddy." Yeah, he's like, "Buddy, I need someone to play with." And I was like, all right, I'll get it. So we go in, I pay for the base edition, and then he was like, "Get the season pass."
Oh my god, that's how it starts.
There you go. Yep.
That's how it starts.
Got that.
And I was like, I don't even know if I'm gonna like the main game. You want me to buy the season pass? And he's like, "Get it." I'm like, all right, fine. I got it, and the rest was history, dude. Like, I got hooked immediately.
Break it down. Wow. So what was it? It was just the aesthetic, the gunplay. What specific? Give me some moments that you're like, yo, this is it.
It was definitely a lot of the original RPG elements that aren't, unfortunately, they're not in the game anymore.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they've been reduced to
those
simplistic.
Those skill trees that we all miss.
Those skill trees. I am a sucker for being able to customize a character.
Oh, we lost him because he said his connection.
Yep.
He come back.
All right, everybody.
He did warn us, guys.
He's coming.
We were prepared for this. He's back.
You're back. You're good.
Are we good?
You back and focused, baby.
Thanks.
Good.
Your recording's still going? All good?
Yeah, no, it's literally just my internet.
You're good.
Cool. So skill tree, you continue.
Skill tree, yeah. So I love having the ability to customize whenever, wherever, and that's something that the first one gave us. You know, that was pretty liberating. Fun fact: I started off as a hunter.
So did I, actually.
That was
you're telling the truth now.
I've always said, I love when you put words in my mouth. I started as a hunter, Taken King. It's been Titan since. When did you go Warlock? So that's the question. When did you go Warlock?
So I started off with a hunter, and I remember I didn't even get to like level 20 as the hunter. Then I remember going into like the Warlock, because I really liked seeing my buddy Ashen, because he's been a warlock since the beginning. He used to be able to like just fly around and like get onto the, like different like spaces that I would have trouble getting on.
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, fuck it. I'm starting a warlock.
And we made it 20 minutes. It's fine. No, you're good. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, I created the Warlock, and once I started getting like the Voidwalker stuff, I was like, ooh, that's cool. Because like if you remember being able to customize it, and back then you could use Bloom and Annihilation in conjunction.
Yes.
And now it's kind of separated. So
yes.
I was like, holy crap, that's cool. And then I saw that like the blank was a thing.
Yes.
So little fun fact about me, I love X-Men.
Like
I'm a big Marvel guy.
Nice, same here. Nice.
Yeah, and Nightcrawler is one of my favorite X-Men.
There we go.
The teleport. Oh,
I'm seeing
the
background makes a lot more sense now. If you guys are listening to this in audio, this man is a Nova Warp king. So
yes.
Yeah. So Nightcrawler is like one of my favorite characters, and so if you guys seen the X2 movie, where he teleports all over the place,
fire.
Back in D1, I was like, oh crap, I can like blink and do stuff like that. So I kind of got hooked then, and I did play around with like other characters, and I maintained all three, but I was always better off with my Warlock.
That's what I want to hear.
And it's been kind of like a progression as from like Destiny 1 to Destiny 2, where I more embraced that Warlock aspect, and then they introduced Nova Warp.
Oh.
And that was it.
Why you did that to that hunter in one of them clips you did? You was evil. Yo, he did. If y'all didn't see what this man did, it was so disrespectful. Because I guess somebody must have pissed you off. And the hunter, I forgot what map was it. I think it was Twilight Gap.
Twilight Gap.
And I didn't even know what you did was possible. Like, you were out in an area where you're not supposed to be, where the map tells you get back into the game, and you sitting there teleporting in Nova Warp Super. He's shooting you. Then you get over to him, and then it's like, blue. I say, this is so disrespectful. I love it.
He had been teabagging me the entire match with Mountaintop and Recluse.
Oh God, I hate those people.
And I had it. That will forever be my favorite play.
Class. Then you hit him with the shoulder lead. Why you had to hit him with the shoulder lead?
Oh, of course, yeah. You gotta hit him with that coincidence, dude.
Yes, you hit him with the coincidence. I said, damn, Nems did that boy dirty.
Bro, that was amazing. That's like my favorite play I think that I've ever made.
Yes,
it's still on my Twitter if anybody's curious.
Yeah, it's on his Twitter. Please, Crystal, it's on his Twitter, you gotta go see it. It is the funniest. The map is Twilight Gap. He's in Nova Warp Super. I forgot what the comment you made. It was hilarious, man.
Oh,
love it.
It was how to disrespect a Spectral Blades hunter that had been teabagging you all game.
Yes. Check that. Yo, get the link. Put the link in the chat for the people. Here. Put the link in the chat.
I don't know if he'll be able to, actually.
To see this. The Twitter link might work. But anyway.
That clip actually got on Kotaku's highlight reel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Dude, that's fire. It was fire, man. That's what's up. So we go in there. And then as far as like the content creation, like what got you into wanting to be a content creator?
Broman and Gathalion originally. I used to like tune into Broman's stream. Broman was the first one that I started watching, and it was more I got started more towards with streaming. I started watching Broman and then started watching Gathalion, and I was like, oh, this streaming thing looks pretty fun. So I got myself the PlayStation camera and kind of started off like that. It wasn't until Rise of Iron that picked up steam a little bit. At the time, it was towards the end of Rise of Iron before Age of Triumph.
Okay.
That I remember sending an email to the, at that time, brand manager for Planet Destiny. And I was like, hey, I know it's slow, but, I have video equipment, I have streaming gear, a decent microphone. If you guys are ever looking for another creator or streamer, like, I'd be super down to help.
Absolutely.
And sure enough, within a couple of weeks, we started talking, and they got me onto Planet Destiny's stream team.
Nice.
So that's how I kind of got that started.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So as far as like, what do you prefer the most? Like, as far as kind of like, you prefer streaming? I know schedule wise sometimes it can be tough with your job, or like, what are aspects of content creation you enjoy the most?
Man, there's ups to both of them, and there's downs to both of them. I love the interactions with streaming. Like that's a given, being able to talk to people. And to me, I've always treated my streams as more as a virtual couch for, just friends to hang out and talk and just have a good time. But the informative side that YouTube creation has, that's intense, man. Like, that takes some serious dedication that, like, once I started doing that for PD, I I was able to see it behind the curtain, and like, holy shit, it's tough. It's fun. It's fun, but it's really, really hard because a lot of people don't really consider that a 10-minute video can take someone about 6 to 7 hours to do.
Yeah.
Because you gotta, at least from like a review perspective, you
probably longer.
You have to play around with different perks. You have to make sure that you know what you're talking about when it comes to using the perks in the sandbox, in PvE, in PvP, what works with what weapons, like help it shine, what it doesn't, and it just, the process is insane. It's insane. And then figuring out, writing the script, and then doing the voiceover recording, the editing of the voice, getting all the clips together, putting it together. It's an insane process that takes so long. And then the moment it hits the internet, some dude's like, oh, well, MTash did it better.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't take long for you to be like, oh, thanks for taking me straight out at the D's. Perfect.
Yeah.
It doesn't take long at all.
Yeah, here's the bad. Just finish it off, please.
Yeah, bro, I have so much respect. Yeah, continue. No, continue.
Yeah, no, so like that's one of the aspects that, like, once I got into it, I was like, you just learn a new level of respect for the people that do this on a daily basis.
Yes.
So...
No, you're absolutely right. That's why I got so much respect for you guys, because I know I can't do it. So for me, and I see the amount of, hours that E puts in and you guys put in, and like you said, it's just a 10-minute or a short clip. There's so much work involved behind it that most people don't understand. And I definitely can resonate with the part about, the here come, Captain Comment in your section, you know what I'm saying, to say whatever he wants to say. Comment. Everybody got that Captain Comment dude, that want to come in there and rip something, and he ain't do a bit of video editing in his life, but here he come, and that's why I have so much respect. Everybody said Captain Comment, and that's how I feel about them dudes. I'm sorry. No, he knows I go after the Captain Comments. I'll go after them.
Yeah, it's like, take any video, like, I used to do solo Nightfall runs, and that was when you would get kicked to orbit. So it's like, it took long enough just to practice through it, get a good run, get a feel of a comfort, understand what to explain. And I would do live commentary on mine, which is a different ball of wax versus a voiceover, which is still its own thing. Because like doing a good voiceover is like quality in itself. But either way, you're like,
it's so tough.
It's like, and then you'll get some that are like, hey, thanks for the guide. And then it doesn't matter. It's as soon as you start getting just enough traction, you're like, hey, then you start getting the consistent 1 or 2 downvotes on every, and you're like, you son of a, why? It's like, and I swear there's a couple of people that just follow, and it's not even just me. It's like anybody. It's like they just follow you just to downvote you. And you're like,
just to hate.
I was like, the amount of effort that goes into this, just to literally like one of the first ones, new video, downvote. And it's just like, what's the point?
No, but I like them dudes, because this is why I like that person wastes his time out of his day. Like he
still giving me a view, but
he's here to come hate. Like, I like that dude. Like you set your whole day towards this. Like, it's funny to me. I think it's hilarious. But
it's like, yo, bro, thank you for thinking about me the moment I went live. So
that's
appreciate it. Thanks for the metric, bud.
Yeah,
exactly. That's
like,
free
you must have had
space.
alerts on. That was really fast. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's crazy tough. Like, I remember when that's definitely like one of the main aspects to consider when it comes to content creation. But another thing that like you also have to like realize is competition, especially in a saturated field right now.
Good point.
Working with Planet Destiny for the time that I was actively doing stuff with them, you had to see, your reaction time with topics that come out have to be ungodly fast, because you have I don't even think he's human, but you have Houndish.
Oh yeah.
That the dude, like half an hour after something is released, the dude has the information out there.
Beast.
Again, fairly certain he's not a human. Fairly certain he's just straight up like a living
him and
computer.
Esoteric. I don't believe those are humans. Those are androids. Those are androids living amongst us.
100%. But like, you have to be on top of it. And
Salute Houndish.
One of the times that I remember like really, really feeling this was when Whisper of the Worm first came out, because I was in charge of covering that guide and showing, you know, basically how to get around it and beat the encounter and all that stuff. So I stayed, I was on that for about 12 hours trying to get that all, like on day one, just working on everything for that video to get it up the following day. And it's intense, dude. It's really intense.
No, you made a good point. And that's the thing. People don't realize, you said a perfect sentence, which is, it is a saturated field, right? So there is things that you have to do to separate yourself from others, as well as if you do have some information that's common, it's got to be kind of first, right? Because it's like, that's where people are rushing. So I got so much respect for you guys, because that's not easy. That's not easy. And it's nothing more demoralizing than, you know, doing all this work and then, you know, it's already out there, or, you know, whatever, or the information is incorrect and you got to go back, you know, that kind of thing. So definitely got a huge respect, man, for you in reference to that and stuff like that. But yeah, man, I wanted to pick your brain on that. And then last question I got for you personally before I get back to eat was, you are considered like I consider you like the anti-meta guy. Right, you will find things and you will figure out a way to make this work in the current sandbox when everybody else is shifted towards, you know, 600 autos and, you know, but here you are with the graviton lens, and, you know, and you're out there, and I'm loving it. So like, I actually share that, but I want to know why you do it. Why do you feel the need to kind of go against the meta?
So largely and honestly, because if you put a meta weapon in my hands, it's just garbage.
Like, I feel that way about Last Word. I've never been good at that. I feel that way
about Mountaintop. Like, I can't use it the way these guys use it. Not in PvP. In PvE, yes, but PvP, I'm garbage with it. But continue, break it down.
Yeah. No, you're good. Yeah, I mean, I just can't. You give me, I have what is considered to be like a really, really, really good spare rations that I got way back in Season of the Drifter. And it's been metas for a really long time, and I probably have killed like maybe like 2 people with it. And it's just, I don't know, man. If you give mind benders to someone out there, they will somehow kill you at like 10 meters. But if you give me that same exact mind benders they just killed me with, I will somehow shoot blanks at like 5 feet away. It doesn't work for me.
One of mine, there was a point where I remember everybody wouldn't shut up about trust. And there was a point where that was pretty popular. I cannot stand that gun.
You don't like
and
180s,
it's a lot of 180s too, but it was just like 180 hand cannons and me don't miss. And people are like, oh, trust, I got a good trust roll. I'm like, I can't stand it. I will use anything but that. Anything but that. Had a question from chat with regards to tractor cannon. Please clarify your thoughts on said weapon.
No, I know what this was. It Crit Buff?
I think, or Shiv. I couldn't remember.
This sounds like a Crit. Probably. It sounds like a Crit Buff question.
Is that like your Achilles heel or something?
No, so this is probably when we were talking about editing. That is like one of, and I can confidently 100% tell you that is like the worst video I've ever made. 100%.
Why so?
Why is that like the worst video? That's a weird way to phrase it.
So at that time, it was still a lot of pressure of making stuff for Planet Destiny, because I kind of climbed up the ladder when it comes to like the roles that I had in PD. You know, I started off as a streamer, then I was in the podcast a couple of times, and eventually became kind of like a permanent member of the podcast. And then from the podcast, I started doing the YouTube stuff. So I kind of like did a little bit of everything with that. So the first couple of videos that I did for PD, for the YouTube section, it was terrifying because Planet Destiny at the time, you know, it was just kind of fresh off the heels of the DCP crew leaving. So that was very big shoes to fill, especially because you have people like Holtzman and Teft and Breyer.
Oh yeah.
So the pressure was big in that video. If you go look for it, it will show it. The voice narration in that was just probably like the worst one that I had ever done. And I remember emailing Ryan after like it went up. I'm like, dude, I hate it. Can I redo it? And he's like, it's already up. It's fine. Just leave it be.
I feel you.
But yeah, no, dude, it's so bad. It's so bad.
I mean, we're all our own worst critic. I mean, I have never gone back to no, but it's like I've got mine too, and it's like I can't tell you how many times I'll go through and either redo it but it's like I don't want to go back and look at some of my old stuff. I kind of scared what that would be like. So was that one of your first, you were saying, when you went to YouTube?
It was one of the very earlier ones, yeah.
Right.
So I was like that. I mean, 1,000 stupid videos later of mine as well. Believe me, my first ones are probably worse. I guarantee you, because I didn't even write a script. So it's probably a lot of rambling at first. I can only imagine.
I know I tried doing the non-script thing very early on too, and I came to the realization that I just cannot keep a coherent thought without a proper script.
Right.
So that's when I was like, all right, well, that doesn't work for me. So I need some sort of like organization.
Yeah, I mean, it's all part of your journey. I think it's part of, finding your place, what makes you comfortable. Obviously, I don't do videos. I do podcasts a lot. And for me, it's like a combination of both. Like some things I like to fall within the script and a lot of things I like to kind of like freestyle with. But it's that comfort zone, you know what I'm saying? And you made a good point. I mean, look, I've followed Planet Destiny for years, you know what I'm saying? Even with the original crew and then with you guys and so on and so forth. So I could only imagine, it's like, hey, you're just getting there. The old regime left, you're the new regime. And that's a lot of pressure. Like we can't understate that. And, I got respect for all those guys that are now, over the DCP live. I can't even imagine, you know what I'm saying, being over there and I'm like, all right, I'm next in line. Like, it's tough, you know what I'm saying? But
it's tough.
Okay.
I remember the first stream that I did on under the Planet Destiny channel. Jesus, the chat was like, who are you?
I mean, that's you're like taking over,
which is normal, it's normal, but that just kind of like builds onto like that pressure. It's like, holy shit, it hits with that almost like imposter syndrome.
Yes,
where you're like, dude, like shit, do I belong here? Like so. I mean, over time, it's definitely things that it takes thick skin.
Yes.
Oh, this whole
big time.
Very, very thick skin.
Very thick skin.
Not let stuff like that. If my screen moves, just let me know.
No, you're good.
To like not let that stuff get to you. And I mean, over time, like I work retail. Right. You develop.
Oh, you get to get to develop thick skin.
You're good.
You develop it there. So it was a little bit easier coming in, but it still hits you like in certain times.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
It's funny now though, because once I stopped doing, not funny, but like it's wild. When I stopped doing the Planet Destiny podcast, just because there's not enough time. I have to work every other Saturday, so I just kind of need me time on the weekends.
Yeah.
I would pop into the podcast every now and then, and like there was a couple of people that were. We had this meme, or there was this meme in the Planet Destiny chat where it was like, "Where's Tefty?" After Tefty left.
No, yeah.
So now, after like a couple of years of me doing that, I saw that trend. But like with me, and there were some people, like, don't get me wrong, it came from an interesting and kind of nice place, but someone in the chat had said something along the lines, I was like, wow, Nem really carried this podcast, and I was just like, I mean, I appreciate it, but that's kind of dickish to say
to the new generation,
to the new people.
So you could relate, absolutely.
So you see that, it's crazy when you get that different perspective of like, now new people are seeing new different faces, and they were kind of used to seeing familiar faces. So it's weird, man. Creation is a trip.
Yes.
Speaking of Planet Destiny, we're gonna have Moon here in a couple weeks as well coming on.
Nice.
So
nice.
Yeah. So looking forward to that one. But man, sounds like you have been through quite the paces of just about everything in this community. But final piece is, what made you want to turn into kind of one of the really kind of stellar Destiny photographers?
I am a sucker for like, even like IRL in real life. Like I love taking pictures. I'm a sucker for taking like flora and fauna pictures, like just flowers and stuff like that. I love doing that, and my Instagram like kind of reflects that here and there. But it's the artists at Bungie are like god tier. You know,
Yeah.
you know they're insane. And I feel like a lot of people that play the game often seem to miss a lot of those details.
Yes.
So I love to be able to like go into the game and just capture those particular details that people may not see or they just miss and stuff like that. And a lot of people have been receptive to it. That's why I have a public folder on my Twitter where there's a collection of just a lot of different screenshots and stuff like that that you can just go in there and download. Like if you know for your stream or your podcast, whatever, you can just go in there, get what you want. I tend to update it like every new season with new stuff. I haven't yet for Season of Arrivals, but it's pretty great to be able to like appreciate stuff like that. I remember one of the first pictures that I had uploaded to Twitter that like got a lot of traction. It was something so small, but it's the things that you miss. It was the reload animation of Malfeasance. So when you open up the Malfeasance and the cartridge comes out, that's fully rendered and it's fully detailed, and the actual bullets of Malfeasance look like these tiny little needle darts that fit into the gun, and they're you know they have like this take and glow to them, and that shit is cool, and you don't get to see that.
Yeah, if you're just playing along, not paying attention to the animation, you're like, oh damn.
And it's just the thing, and it's like it's so quick, like it's so easy to miss because you're into like the heat of the game. So you know, it's just small things like that, and then just taking like you know scenic pictures or pictures of Guardians, which I'm getting people asking me you know to take pictures of them for the Bungie fashion thing.
Oh, the fashion.
Yeah, I've had a couple of people ask me, you know, I was like, hey, can you take a picture of my Guardian? I like the way you do it. So
that's what's up.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool that you know you can help. And in one of those like that same thread with the Malfeasance, I remember there was a Bungie dev that commented on it. He was like, I'm going to pass this thread along to the person who actually created that because they feel like people don't see that and appreciate that. And I was like, holy shit, that's why it's there. So they can like, yeah, it was really cool. It was really
yeah, man, I'm with you, bro. Like they really don't get enough credit. It's besides the immaculate gunplay. Besides, you know what I'm saying, the attention to detail from the artistry, right? You know, the weapon creation, the subtleties, like you said, with a Malfeasance and a Thorn. Then, you know, me and E always talk about, you know, we got like a 900 or somebody who does these skyboxes, these tremendous, beautiful, just oh my god, amazing vistas, right? Yeah. And you just like look at this, like you do Prophecy Dungeon and you're like, look at this. Like I was just going through the on the Sparrow section and you're seeing all the stuff intertwined. I'm like, who thinks of this? Like it's like this is nutty. Like yo, like they don't get enough credit, bro. And the last thing, and I always champion, is the sound team, the soundtrack. They don't get enough credit. Like they orchestra, but those guys, Silvestri, those guys. Even, you know, I know Marty gets a lot of credit from part one, and rightfully so, O'Donnell. But it's like even now, like yo, Silvestri, those guys are in their bag, man. Shout out to Scout. He just recently did remember he did the raid music themes. He was breaking it down. Yeah. And I was like, man, I forgot, yo, Oryx beat was like that boss fight was ominous. I go crazy every time I hear Last Wish and the Shuro Chi fight as well as the escape from Riven. I love that beat. It hypes
it's
me
so
up.
Good.
Yeah, man. They don't get enough credit from a purely production standpoint and artistry standpoint. The game really is stunning on a lot of levels. It really is. It really is. But yeah, that's good. It's good that they forwarded. That was cool. They forwarded the stuff off. To
right. Yeah. Awesome. And it's just I don't know. It again just as long as people like appreciate small things like that. I think that's what makes it worth it.
Facts. Exo Star Queen's Walk. What you know about that beat? What you know about that Queen's Walk beat? What? Dun, 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 dun. That joint is hard. Anyway, I'm going for another tangent. Let's continue.
There's some epic ones too, like for sound.
The Gambit theme uses regicide clips.
Yes, I know.
That one's good.
That's fire.
We may be getting this. I'll be curious which version we get back of Sepix too, because like the rock remix was always fun
when the
Sepix
guitar hit E
in Rise of Iron. Yes.
What? Man, look, I get mad every time every time the Game Awards come up, I low key harass Jeff Keighley. So I'm like, so when is Destiny the Game gonna get selected as a nomination? I'm like, I just want a nomination. You know what I'm saying? At this point, I don't even care. Like, they should be in the mix. You know what I'm saying?
They really do.
That's me. I'll get on my harassment train. Just for Destiny, I'm bad.
Oh, absolutely.
But I love it, man. I love it, bro. I love it.
Well,
anyway, what else
speaking
we got going,
of everything going on, at least recently, first time for this season for Iron Banner. Wanted to see what your guys' thoughts on it were, how you guys are liking the new guns. We can start with those, actually. The new auto rifle, the new sidearm. If you guys are liking the new perks and the new guns, where are you standing, Nem?
And where you at? Iron Banner.
Well, haven't really used them. I literally just got a Fool's Remedy.
That's the sidearm,
I tried using
right?
I tried using the sidearm, and it's a full auto Suros. So I play with controller, and I felt like the moment I started shooting, just like my aim went.
Yeah, it went off.
It went all of. Yeah, so I have to get used to it. I like certain sidearms. Unfortunately, Fool's Remedy doesn't fall into the archetype that I enjoy.
Me and you are too damn similar. Continue. It's funny you said that was literally my assessment of Fool's Remedy, but continue.
Yeah, it doesn't fall. I'm a lonesome.
I'm a last hope.
Okay, the Omelon.
I'm actually digging the new one. So.
Oh really? Or what you call it? You know what? Shout out to Tassie. Breachlight, baby. I like me Breachlight and Kinetic. I really do. But continue. Because you were saying.
I don't think I get it.
Breachlight was the season before.
Dawn.
That was the season of Dawn sidearm.
Dawn, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Love that one for some reason. I don't know. It just feels good. But I'm with you on Fool's Remedy for controller users. It just felt like it was all. I just didn't feel accurate. You know, I'm just like it's your classic comment, like, "Oh, this is better, but it ain't better for me. Like, it don't feel good to me." Like,
and maybe and that's honestly, I wonder the difference because I've been mouse and keyboard since it ever an option. I was on PC for mouse and keyboard. So
how
if you guys
it for you?
Like Fool's Remedy for me, I actually really like it. Like because I can control it potentially, and like I had to get sidearm kills, and I got one, and then I was like, "Oh, here we go." Like this, it's actually not a bad option. Hits pretty reasonably.
Yeah.
And then now the new auto rifle, that one I'm digging. I got a pretty decent roll. Yep, I got a pretty decent roll on that one actually. I was pleased. What do you guys think of that one?
Well, I'll jump in. Forward Path, I've been a fan when it first was introduced. I mean, I've always liked it. You know, now to me, 600s are just in this sweet place. So I've always wanted a kinetic 600 that I could use because the other kinetics were like either being phased out. I think it was like Duty Bound. And then the other one that was really good was Ghost Primus from the Leviathan raid, which I have.
That's a classic.
Ghost Primus feels good. It's just that it just sucks. I can't put anti-barrier mod on it. I can't, like you don't got the new flavor with it. So it's just like, it's these old guns with the old times 10 masterwork that don't do nothing besides give you thing. So I'm just like, no, Forward Path is definitely, I have like the standard stock kind of roll. I think the one that Saladin kind of gave me, I think it was.
Oh, I was like, those aren't stock. They're all random.
Oh, those are RNG. So yeah, I think it's decent the roll I got. I just want one with a PvE kind of roll.
Oh, like so Feeding Frenzy multi-kill clip like I got?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that like that. Yes. I was like,
I can't get me a PvE roll, but I got the PvP roll that I wanted.
That's sick. So. Yeah. So I like it. I'm probably not going to get me to move off of my summoner right now. Shout out to Aries, who's probably in the chat. He'll help me get that. But if for anybody who's looking for a Kinetic 600, that's the way to go. You got to get your hand on it, and you can free up some exotic slots from other things if you don't want to use Suros and all that other stuff. What about you, Nem?
I just got like one that I thought was decent enough to start using. It's very difficult to pry off my Blasphemer from my Kinetic.
Yeah,
it's so hard, dude.
I saw the clips.
Yeah, it's so hard, but I try to play with other things just to kind of like keep it fresh from time to time, but I see my numbers go down every time I start playing with something new just because I'm not used to it.
Yeah.
So like I play like a couple of matches and like it feels like I'm throwing, and I'm just like,
I feel you.
Give me my shotgun back.
Yep,
So
you gotta go
What
back.
do you run with it?
Mm-hmm.
With the forward path that I got?
No, what do you run with Blasphemer? If that's your usual.
Oh, it's the curated.
Mm-hmm.
It's the it's got accurized, high caliber, quick draw, and opening shot with a range monster work.
Yeah, I can see why it's hard to pry that out of your hands. That's pretty.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, so you remember the first like 2 missions in Shadowkeep where they kind of force you to do Altars of Sorrow to like tier 3, and then you get a chest. Okay, that was the first drop. Like on Shadowkeep launch.
Wow, Orange Jesus.
Yeah,
let's go.
I saw it and I kept it, and I was like,
as you should.
I'm gonna keep that because I was like, I'm gonna keep it, just in case of
smart stash.
I've always liked slug shotguns because
me too.
Cognito, I don't know if you were, if you were super into like Black Ops or 1 or 2, but I remember the KSG.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Okay. I loved the KSG because it was a slug shotgun. It had a bigger range. So naturally, like those slug shotties for me are like super fun because they're high risk, high reward.
Yes.
I've posted several videos of why I play with them because you will 100% always get someone that's just like mindlessly holding W.
Yep.
Coming at you, and if you know your kill distance with them, it's like you're just like waiting for them. It's like, okay,
there you go,
you're done.
Literally, bro.
Yeah,
it's funny you said that because how you feel about slugs, and I've always liked slugs. First of all, you've been rewarded for being loyal now because slugs got the buff as well in PvE,
30% PvE or something.
Yeah, how you feel about that is how I feel with Lord of Wolves. Everyone apes me. So, like me, I can keep distance and say, "Hey, come into the fire, come taste this. You want this?"
Yeah.
And it's amazing. So it's the same thing. Like I'm anti-meta in that regard because it fits my play style. But I could totally see where you're at with that with Blasphemy. That's dope.
No, it's been super fun, and I'm sad.
What?
I'm sad because this is a gun that's gonna get sunsetted.
Which one? Which one we missing? We could pour our RIP shout out to. Which one?
Blasphemer is going.
Blasphemer.
Oh,
Blasphemer's gonna get sunsetted.
1060. Yeah. So, rest in peace to the homie. Rest in peace.
Yeah,
to the homie.
I'm trying to get it close to 5,000 kills as Crucible kills.
Damn.
I'm at 4,800 right now.
Oh, you'll get there.
So I'm close to just kind of hit that milestone before I can't upgrade it anymore.
You should just get to 5,000 and just like set it in the vault and just leave a nice even number and don't go over. Because just leave it retired.
I know, and like in a state of glory. I know, seriously.
But here's the thing: like you gotta now start recruiting. Now you gotta see. This is the problem you're gonna have. You have that emotional attachment, like how I have to certain ones that we see that 1060 be like, oh no, it's gonna go. Right?
Yeah.
So you got to start recruiting now. Who's the next that's gonna take the spot? Like I purposely don't touch Recluse no more and Mountaintop because I know me. I'm like, those are my win buttons. Like I got to put it away now. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like no. So who's the new next in line? What are you thinking about? Who's the next kids that's gonna take the mantle?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't have one yet. That's one of like my bigger downfalls when it comes to this stuff because like
Chaperone,
I can't run I can't run Chaperone because I run Graviton.
That was gonna ask what was your energy slot, and that answers that.
Graviton.
So
Graviton, that's got like 13k kills on it.
jeez, there you go.
That hasn't left my hand since like I started using it again.
How does Chaperone feel compared to Blasphemer? If you do toy around, you still as successful?
I feel like I'm a little bit more successful with my Blasphemer than I am with Chaperone. I don't know what it is, but I can safely say that there's been times with Chaperone that I feel like I know I would have gotten a kill and I don't. And I'm not sure if that has anything to do with like base stats or anything like that, or just like the physical aspects of the gun. Because as Fallout figured it out, different like
barrel lengths.
bodies for barrel lengths and stuff like that
Must be longer.
But
yeah,
gotta be long.
That's right.
So
got the ASMR in here tonight after dark.
After dark, last word, campfire. We warned y'all. Oh, baby.
So yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've always had a lot more success with Blasphemer than Shappy.
I was gonna say, I'm trying to think what else is even hanging around long enough. What good bone structure might be one that's like I think gonna live for a little bit. There's not a lot of options though. So I mean, Blasphemer's your baby.
I think I'm this will retire once Beyond Light hits.
Yeah,
that's the life expectancy that it has, and then I'm gonna have to find something else to kind of like replace with it.
Start now, because I'm telling you right now, you're gonna fall in that comfort zone. It's hard to get out of it because you know what works.
Oh, it already is. I already feel that way, bro. Like, so here's the thing. So when I play with my Titan, and this is gonna sound totally nerdy as shit. I play with my Titan, I typically don't bring over Graviton and Blasphemer.
Interesting.
That stays on my Warlock.
Oh, the Warlock got his own weapon? Damn!
Yeah, that stays on my Warlock.
I thought I was hardcore. This is hardcore. Continue.
My Titan, at least the way that I've currently been playing it, because Season of Dawn and Season of Worthy, I pretty much exclusively played my Warlock. I kind of left my Hunter and my Titan in the dust. But I started playing it again, and I've been running Monte Carlo with him.
That's a good. That feels good.
Yeah,
it is. It's really good. And so, like, I have this little build with my Titan.
Melee build. Yeah, let's go.
Is it Skull for it?
No.
Oh, okay.
Which exotic are you running the Titan though? What you doing?
Severance Enclosure.
Really?
Is that the finisher exploder?
That is on PvE, yes.
Okay.
But in PvP, it works with shoulder charge.
Okay.
And if you are close enough to people, when you get your initial kill, you will kill anybody that is within like 5 meters.
Wow.
With Severance Enclosure.
Okay.
So there's been moments where like if there's like 3 people capping a point and I'm just aping my little heart out towards like B or something, and I manage to get that one, all of them are gonna go down because they're standing right next to each other capping the point.
Fire.
And it's fun. So that's why I run Monte Carlo, so I can get that melee up, you know,
all the time,
more consistently. Yeah, exactly. It's really fun. It's an underrated exotic, dude. It's super underrated. But that's been great.
That's what's up, man. I gotta try that. I gotta check it out. That's some cool builds. You gonna try that one, E?
I'll think about it.
I was like, honestly, it sounds like he ain't peeling off or something.
Like, I've just stared at that exotic and I'm just kind of going, and then I feel like even when I just didn't seem like it was going to do that much, but yeah, in the right situation, I guess I could see.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say, it's incredibly situational. It's not something that you're going to take advantage every single time you get a shoulder charge kill with.
Right.
But when it happens, it's satisfying as hell to get like that multiple like kill clip procking. It's super fun.
Nice.
Fire. That's what's up. Yeah, man. I've been. Those are the 2 I got. I will say it's much harder to get these weapons to drop. These IB weapons to drop.
Yeah. So kind of wanted to bring that up. So you've got 2 new refresh weapons coming back, but you got the full loot pool to go between. So when it comes for, I've seen people asking for the idea of either a deliberate way to go after some of these guns or anything of that nature. Wondered if you guys think Iron Banner is just like still the token slot machine, but you've got, everybody's like, hey, I got my set of armor. I've got plenty of the old weapons, but I want the 2 new ones. There's no way to directly go after those, especially after we've been working with the Prismatic Recaster for so much this season. It's the exact opposite and almost feels that much worse because I can go after Cold Denial and Guillotine over and over and over and over and over. Over here, I've got 15 things to pick from. And I'm just like, I've got a lot of tokens and I'm like, I'm going to burn through all these and get like 1 roll.
Yeah. And question, out of the 15 things, are the older Iron Banner stuff 1300 or those are 1060 stuff?
Those are now newer.
So
if they drop this season, like say a Swarm of the Raven, for example, is a prime example. Everybody went for that thing when it was, in the meta. It's not quite as cool as it was. Still pretty good grenade launcher. But now, if it drops now, it's 1360.
So it's whatever grinding for the new version again.
Yeah, and since we got Nem here, he seemed like he had an opinion about it. I wanted to open the box of sunsetting, And we've mentioned this. We talked about it last week when you weren't here. And this was like a prime example of now we're seeing the whole reissue thing, which is like I was for sunsetting, he was against. We ended up coming to kind of a middle ground in general on it. And then, like, probably for both of us, though, and like Tassie said, like, reissues was an issue that I saw for lots of different people talking about it. Be like, I don't want to go after the same thing. And now we're seeing that prime example for specifically Iron Banner. Now, like Forward Path and 2 weapons get it, like new perks, which one's good, one very odd.
One's odd.
But for the reissues, just what's your thoughts about sunsetting? Since you're the guest, we gotta ask, and then just kind of now this coming up too.
I'm okay with it for weapons. I'm against it for armor.
Ooh,
okay,
interesting. That's the first. This is new. I want to hear break that down.
Because as anybody who's played any power level enabled PvP activity can test, you see a lot of the same things. You see a lot of more recently now, for example, you're most likely seeing a lot of Summoner, a lot of Nine Hunger, or Mountaintop, particularly just frickin' Mountaintop.
I can't tell.
I'm sorry. I know. I'm sure you like that gun, but
no, I'm with you. I can't. That was what I'm like. What's the date on your expiration? Yes, yes. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Continue.
So in that case scenario, like just seeing that stuff over and over and over again, and it gets very tiring. And it's honestly one of the reasons why I kind of don't really care for, and it's one of them. Why I don't care for Trials of Osiris, because you're basically just going up against the same thing every single time, and it gets very tedious. It gets very frustrating. And I'm not a 3s player. Like I love the chaos of 6v6. Keeps me on my toes. But in PvE, it's basically the same thing. All right, Riven, get out your grenade launchers. Get out your. I don't know what's the strategy now.
I think people are sorting them now.
Sorting her, yeah. I know that you can dark drink her now.
That's disrespectful.
That's actually going to get changed on Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's going to be a little less.
So, or like more recently with like the Sanctified Mind or Garden of Salvation, it's a Xenophage, Whisper of the Worm. And it's the same. It's the same thing every single time. Yeah. And I can't imagine that Bungie wants to create more weapons, right, that are cool, but people are still kind of holding on to some of those like Mountaintop or Wendigo, Hammerhead and stuff like that. So in that sense, I'm for it. But when it comes to armor, that's a little bit harder to kind of like get, particularly with a solid stat roll.
Yes. Preach. I feel you with that.
And masterworking it is not cheap.
Woo, resources, brother. Resources.
Exactly.
I did a whole rant about that before.
Yeah, so it's not cheap to masterwork a piece of armor. Like you gotta be like, all right, I gotta commit to putting this Ascendant shard on here. Especially if you don't really run Nightfalls, which I don't. So whatever shards I get, I'm like, shit, I gotta make sure, I'm gonna commit. Although now it doesn't matter because it's not going forward. So that's why I'm against armor, just because resources are really hard to come by, especially if you don't do Nightfalls.
Good point.
Stat rolls is not easy to come around.
Good point. Get those high 60s.
Yeah, which is probably why they're introducing transmog in year 4.
For the look. Right.
Exactly, for the look. Because, if, like, for example, for me, my Warlock has the Thorium Holt chest piece, and that has a really high intellect roll. And that's
perfect for us. That's what we want.
Exactly, that's what I want. But come Beyond Light, that set, those shards, that the prisms, it's not going to matter anymore. I basically I've lost that.
Yeah.
So now I'm gonna have to look for something new. So that's why I'm against the sunsetting of armor. But when it comes to weapons, like
you make a good point with armor in terms of the stat roll. You know what I mean? Because we all know how hard it is to get those good rolls. Thankfully they've increased this. I felt this patch they've been more forgiving with a lot of the drops. I did Prophecy. I got a lot of high 60 rolls. I'm starting to see them a little bit more in the wild. But I do feel you, because you've got all these different layers of RNG already, right? Then resources are limited, right? So when you do get these ascendant shards, you do get a golf ball and all this stuff, you've got to think about really committing. And then for them to say, okay, now we're taking this away, it's a hard pill to swallow. I do understand your point on that. Weapons, again, me and E have met in the middle. There is a part of me that is enjoying having to think about what I'm going to use come Beyond Light. I'm not going to lie, from a weapon standpoint. There is a part of me that does enjoy saying, okay, you know what? Recluse, you had your run. Witchcraft had your run. I got to start picking replacements. So I've actually come alongside to E's side on that. We'll never meet on the middle with exotics. He knows that. We will fight tooth and nail, blood and teeth. It will go down.
But, I want to hear this.
That you don't want to hear, because it'll be another 2-hour show, and we've made a pact.
I'll make it really simple. When it came to sunsetting, I was gonna say everything, and he cannot stand to see exotics go.
Yeah. You see your face. You see he wants your graviton lance gone. He wants it gone. He wants to kill your legs.
Bro, it's barely become effective in PvE with the unstoppable pulse mod that you can put on armor instead of a gun.
I know.
So like,
I was like, the idea was for a while that a lot of people do crutch on certain things, as you're saying. It's like you live on your recluses, your mountaintops and stuff, but there are certain exotics that get that same effect. So it's like, well, now if you take out the recluses, the mountaintops, and those types of things going into the new raid, everybody's going to probably narrow it down to a very short list of exotics, and they're probably all going to be trying to work with those when it comes to whatever kicks off in the fall. So you still have this thing, and my question to him was like, okay, so it was year 6. It was year 7 when I used to joke, but at least we know 6 actually exists now. That's new. I was like, year 6 raid. Should you still be able to take Whisper into the year 6 raid? Because it's a year 1 exotic.
That's a good question. Honestly, yes.
Why?
Because Whisper is not the same powerhouse as it was back in when it first came out.
I agree.
If we're looking particularly,
but on the other side, if they did have the sunsetting in place and it got to live in its shining moments when it was powerful, then it had a chance to live, but then it would also be sunset. So, yeah, it's like now Whisper's not as big of a deal. But say, okay, what about Anarchy? Everybody and their other brother's mother uses Anarchy right now for next to everything. If keep taking that thing forward. Like, if there's something that's that good, exotics right now, there's like 150 of them. We have a lot. So it was just the idea, if they want to continue to introduce exotics that can shine, I always wonder how many heavy machine guns can you make? Like Xenophage is cool. It's definitely a unique thing, but we had Delirium, which was better than most. We haven't had that many exotics. So even the legendaries had their pieces. You've got Thunderlord and Xenophage now for exotic machine guns.
Heir Apparent.
Yeah. And Heir Apparent.
There you go. So,
but the thing is, so like we already have like a slew of legendary weapons that are moving out of the game come Beyond Light.
Yeah.
We don't know how much more exotics are going to come with Beyond Light. So if they were to do an exotic sunset, they would be basically sunsetting almost every exotic that came out in the game up until Season of Arrival, which are a handful of them. And from what I know, Bungie doesn't really like to take away tools too much from the sandbox. So that's probably one of the reasons why they've made the decision to keep at least, exotics from sunsetting. And again, it's not like at least when we're looking at, like champions and stuff like that, which it seems like that's the direction that they're taking a lot of stuff into. It's not like a lot of those are super, super handy. It's like, I think maybe Ariana's Vow and Divinity both have like intrinsic perks. But I mean, outside of that, like
breath.
It's like those are the few that have like intrinsic perks that are kind of useful in those activities. But if you take a look at like a lot of those other exotics, just now pulse rifles are becoming viable in like a Grandmaster Nightfall, for example, because you're able to use that armor mod that grants every exotic unstoppable.
Yeah.
Right.
And that was before that was a thing too, which is nice to see that, because that was the other piece I've asked for is like exotics. I would love to see those have a slot for, even if it's just barrier, unstoppable, and overload, just a slot to use those mods. So, hey, it's pulse rifles this season, or it's auto rifles, whatever. You can use that exotic. And if I can take a Suros with the auto rifle mods that we've got, helping keeping me alive, that's where it's going to give them new life, and that I'll give you. It was before some of this started to come out when that debate happened. So
that's fair. And I think there's exciting, again, to meet in the middle, because we're not going to fight. I'm not doing it today. I'm not.
Oh no, that was like,
I was trying to keep it together. I was like, I'm gonna let them handle this.
That was one of our rowdiest podcasts for sure.
Yes, very rowdy. But I think that's what we can do to meet in the middle is to excite you specifically, right? Because I understand your position on it. My thing is, maybe like I said, you can, like you said, those mods, right? So when the seasonal artifact comes out, it's like, hey, pulses, sidearms, or whatever the meta is going to be for barrier and overload, right? That those can now be applied to exotics, or you put that on the armor slot, right? That allows it to you now use. How exciting is it going to be to use Rat King up in there, and that has overload mod? You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's running Rat King. Like there could be fun moments where older exotics that haven't got touched can get a chance to shine. Yeah. And the last part I would say is that they've proven. I know you mentioned the whisper thing. They've proven that there's certain exotics, like I said, they either bring down or they bring up, right? Or based on the meta. And I think that thing is just a shifting thing where other things can get life. And they've proven with Graviton Lance and Sunshot that, remember, those initially were kind of weak at D2 launch. They got buffed. Cosmology got buffed from Graviton, and we were like, holy, we looked at Sunshot and those explode. Dude, it's a party going off when you play the Sunshot. I was literally talking to a dude on Twitter today, and he was like, I think we talked about gnawing hunger, and he was like, yeah, I can't, take that out of my energy slot or something. I wouldn't use Forward Path. Right, he's like, his point was there's no exotic energy exotic that he's excited about. I'm like, bro, have you? And I named like 4, right? I was like a Graviton, Sunshot, Ariana's, and I'm like, you haven't used those? They say hello. They saying hi to you right now. So he's like, Sunshot, I haven't touched that since the beginning of D2. I said, bro, you need to touch it again. It's that good. So he's now playing, and he's like, yo, you're right. Like, this is crazy, the things you can do. So again, there's ways they can do stuff to, like I said, buff older exotics or archetypes that in general, like, could we all agree snipers kind of need a little love right now as far as PvE?
Scouts
PvE
too.
Sniper. Yeah, scouts especially. They could do things in the sandbox, so we'll see. I think we can meet in the middle there, though.
You know what's a sad fact?
What's that?
Oxygen
SR3
never got a chance to shine, bro.
Never got a chance to shine before it's getting sunsetted.
I'm so mad. I had so high hopes for that gun. Yeah. I had Dragonfly spec. I was going all out, and I'm like, this is still trash.
It's just not good. It's never been good. Like that was the sad side of Pinnacles.
Yeah.
And then Mountaintop and Recluse are the other scary side.
It's just funny to see that all of the Crucible or at least like most of the Crucible Pinnacles excelled both in Crucible, but also took over the PvE side of things.
Over the PvE side of the game.
And like the PvE Pinnacles was like, all right, you got Loaded Question. That's all right.
No, but don't sleep. Loaded. I had some fun with Loaded. I like Loaded, man.
Loaded Question was with me like throughout Crowns of Sorrow, dude.
Yo, like ad control.
Actually,
with that explosion.
Okay. I will say that literally Loaded Question I toyed around, because now you've got I cannot remember the name of the perk, but you put it on a bow.
Reservoir Burst.
No.
For Oxygen?
Hold on. 1 second. No, it's the new perk that you'll get on Sympathetic Arsenal. Put that on a bow with Loaded Question. Every time you reload, you're sitting mag capped, so you have it just waiting.
I didn't even think about that. With the explosion, that's fire. I didn't even think about that.
It's beautiful what you can do with that combination.
Wow. That's
all the time.
Sick.
Literally every time you shoot you reload constantly. So shoot a couple, switch over, always waiting. always waiting.
And that's the essence of Loaded Question. You want that full clip, explosive, bro. Woo. See, I can't touch it now because it's gonna go away. Then I'm gonna get sad that I can't do this.
Yeah, that's the thing right there. It's Balin, so like you can only enjoy that this season. But it was like that was one of those with Sympathetic Arsenal on a bow. I'm like, cool, and that's something that can truly take advantage of it. So
that's super cool, dude.
But that's what makes me wonder about the fall, and we'll get back to my other topic here in a second. Is how big of an influx? Because we're losing a lot, obviously. Yeah. Blasphemer, Loaded Questions, lots of Pinnacles. It's getting to be whittled down. I mean, people were saying there's like going to be 1 or 2 swords. I mean, the lists were getting pretty small. How big, wanted to ask both of you, how big of an influx? How big is this new loot pool that they introduced with Beyond Light? How big do you think it's going to be?
Oh man, dude, it's gotta be substantial because we're going to see a lot of stuff leaving. And I don't know. It's a looter shooter, dude. You gotta have something to chase. You gotta have stuff to chase, and I don't know. I mean, I feel like they're gonna do good. You know, a lot of if we're looking in comparison, you know, a lot of people tend to kind of look at the seasonal stuff, more than it should. You know, like. They'll look at like, oh, you know, this season only has like 3 weapons with it and like 2 exotics or whatever. But then it's like you got to think about the fact that this is not meant to be like a DLC. This is just kind of meant to satiate you. Meanwhile, we get a bigger piece of content in the year. Because I mean, if we step back a little bit and we look at Destiny 1, we didn't have anything between House of Wolves and Taken King. That was 6 months of the same sandbox. Of nothing but just Trials was basically the only thing that kind of kept that going because people still wanted to go to the lighthouse that didn't go. But now we have at least something to kind of play and chew and mull around with until, you know, the big fall expansion comes around. So I think they're going to do good. I think we will see a good heft of like possibly like a Forsaken sized type of like loot pool coming in.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think it has to be, you know, I mean, obviously if you're going to introduce Sunset and you're going to make a big commitment to a blog post about why this needs to happen, you clearly have to have a plan in place to, you know, to basically satiate that. So yeah, I think it's coming. I got complete confidence in it. There's one thing about Bungie, man. When it comes to September, not only do they introduce things, they always rework the backbone of the game. They always introduce either subclasses, perks, or just new things. I mean, even last year, I remember we were like finishers. Like, what's this? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, I didn't even know I wanted this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
finisher, the thing you never knew you wanted. And
I'm like, yo, there's so many. And think about, there's so much like revenue potential. I would buy foolish things like Karate Kid doing stuff, and I would like, you know, sweep the leg. I would just spend money doing this stuff. Like they've opened up a whole new revenue stream for things I didn't even think I needed. So I have full confidence. You know, they're going to kill it. You know, we're going to get that raid. I will say this, that I'm proud of them, though, is I was under the impression that with the expansions, right? Like, you know, we got Shadowkeep, we had the dungeon, we had a new dungeon, and we had a raid, right? So I'm like, wow, that's a lot of content. So greedily, I'm like, we can't ask any more dungeons. You know what I'm saying? Because, so to see Prophecy up in this, I was like, okay, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? So again, got to give them credit. Like you said, this is a ever-changing game. It's a game as a service in a sense. You know, these smaller things are to keep us afloat. They're not meant to be, and I'm at peace with it finally. I was, Eve knows, I was very upset during the transition at first because you like what you like and you got used to it, you know, but as a studio, and then if you look at the resources, right, we're like, they lost Vicarious, I can't, as selfish as I am, I can't ask them to do that without all of these resources, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So now it's just like, okay, cool, this is what we're going to get. But my whole thing with them, this is my only beef with them, and I always stay hard on them on this part, is with the annual content. Like, you see how we're doing stuff with these stories with Eris and Drifter, and you got the Devil's Ruin quest, and like, I want those narrative threads told right and cinematically tied into each season correctly, so it's cohesive. You know what I'm saying? That's a must for me. I'm never going to get my boot off their neck with that. Like, please connect these things in a cool way. Once you do that, I'm good. And then I recognize, you know what? September's the big boy. This is when, and I'm good. I'll leave you alone for the most part. But to your question, ultimately, big sandboxes coming. Big, I think, additions to the loot pool, new exotics. They're going to kill it. We got darkness subclasses in a way, coming in a way.
That one's a big one, because not only is it thus like an entire new subclass to kind of play around with, but it's a subclass that's customizable, unlocked like the ones that we currently have. So
now,
that's going to be really fun.
Are the old subclasses going to get a rework to get that same customizable feel?
So according to Luke Smith, they're using this new darkness stasis as an experiment to see how it works, and if it's successful, most likely they'll work on opening up like those other older subclass trees up.
Interesting.
So
you're gonna have literally more player choice just on the new one as well.
Right.
Be curious how fast people are like, oh, dude, do this to. I can't imagine it's not gonna take like a week and be like, yeah, do this to all of them right now. Just to jump right on it. Because that's what everybody, like, I miss, like, hey, do you want this perk or this perk? And it's like, and not everybody's, there may be some optimal, but hey, I want to go for a certain build style and let me mix it up. So
I agree.
Now, my only wonder for the fall, it's like weapons, I'm with you guys. Like, I think it's got to be big. It's got to be a chunk, because I remember there was a graphic somebody put together of like what was going to remain in each archetype for each weapon. And it was pretty stingy in a lot of places. So, I don't know if you ask for 40 or 50 or whatever, but I don't know the number to ask for, but it's got to be a big influx. But my question is, and this is where I wonder when you talk about armor, do you think they're going to do anything else to armor in the fall?
like
a 3.0?
Jesus, I don't think so.
E's heart's breaking right now.
It's a long shot hope, believe me, I know, but
I think at that point, it's hard to see. I don't know, again, because I'm just a caveman that plays the game. And I don't have the big brain they do to like come up with this stuff. It's hard to see what else they can open up with our current system with armor, because we have, we now have the ability to change the elemental stuff on it. We have the 2 mod slots. We have a lot of possibilities for builds and stuff like that. I don't know outside of transmog what else they can add to the armor system, aside from maybe like what they did with Gambit Prime,
right? And
armor set perks.
I would love to see that.
Love that. But let me ask you guys a question though. Realistically, as much as we all want armor set perks, does that play nice with armor sunsetting?
No, it does not.
And that's what I worry now, because now you introduce sunsetting, you really can't have some sets to hold on. I don't know. I'm not that you can't, but it's just going to be for limited times, That's
something where I could see sets be valuable as a raid. Like if there's a Deep Stone Crypt set bonus perk.
Brother. I'm with you.
It's always usable in there. You could even keep the set in your vault.
Facts.
But you don't worry about it going forward, because that's still always usable in that vault.
Yeah. It's almost like we had that already.
Yeah, I know.
It worked already.
Yeah.
But for some reason, it's not a thing anymore.
It's not a thing no more. It's not a thing.
Great. I don't know. I will die on the hill that Wrath of the Machine had the best investment system in Destiny.
Talk your talk. And for the Wrath of the Machine guys, I always give y'all a hard time. But I always say the loot pool and the investment system with that raid was by far the best. I will always give it up. 100%. I got my Seaver shirt on today, Wrath of the Machine. But salute, man. I always give it up because it always made me want to run it. Number one. You had the key system, the Seaver key thing, so that even if you did the raid already, you had investment to still do it for a chance at a reward. you had the dude. Wrath had the greatest loot system, man. I
not
really
to
agree.
mention.
Mhm.
Not to mention that, like, the energy and the heavies, they all
Yes.
had an elemental burn.
Yes.
So that's what kept me running, because I was like, shit, I love the Ex Machina. I want an Ex Machina on all the burns.
Bro, let's talk some Warlock talk for a second. Remember the mattress chest we had?
Oh, dude!
Yeah, remember that? It looked like a little bed set. Like, it helped you when you were doing the bomb thing. What was it?
Exactly, because it had raid perks.
It had perks that were consistent with the mechanics of the raid. And like, why are we not doing that no more? Like, I don't
raid
get it.
Weapon and armor perks. Please let that come in the fall.
Yeah, bro. Like, I missed that. Like, they had it lined up. It was no reason to go away from that. I'm with you now. I'll die on that hill with you, bro. Like that. Woo, Wrath did it right.
They did it 100%. Like, the best. That's been the best investment system when it comes to like an end game activity. Like,
yes,
honestly, nothing in D2 right now has compared to that. If anything, it's been kind of lacking.
Yeah.
Throughout its history.
I admit, I ran Wrath a lot because of that. A lot.
Like, I don't know, dude. I used to raid a lot in D1. And a lot of that kind of like died down on Destiny 2 because I don't know.
Same thing.
The visuals and the armor, it didn't give off to like that fantasy aspect that we had in Destiny 1. We had reduced like weapon archetypes in the actual loot pool. You know, like Last Wish doesn't have a heavy machine gun. It doesn't have a sidearm.
Good point.
And if we look at Leviathan, original Leviathan, not Spire and stuff, they were missing weapons.
Oh yeah,
that were taken out of that loot pool and inserted into the raid layers.
Oh, and then those sadly were like, you do an entire raid layer and experience with 6 people and you got 2 drops from it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was...
Which, the number of drops doesn't really like super upset me because it was a smaller thing.
Right.
Shit, it's like half the size of a dungeon.
We gotta call it how we gotta call it. Shout out to extra reset. They don't, the raid armor just don't give that wow factor. He made a good point. Like I remember when shout out to the, again, I give Crota guys a hard time. You know what I'm saying? But Crota set, bro, let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like the joint. I mean, my warlock's looking like a vampire with the necks. You know what's said in it. You got that as part of your DCP pick, so I already know you know. But, bro, like that set again. It's epic. It fed aesthetically with what you were doing, and I gotta be real with y'all. As much as I love Prophecy, I ain't really care for that set as much as I thought I was.
Oh, the new armor.
There's a reason why, though.
All right. Why am I... Okay, say what you're going to say, because I'm upset with one thing, Nona. Like, why I do this great raid, and I got this Louis Vuitton Daito logo on my chest. Like, why I need a logo on my chest?
because that was the Eververse set.
Okay.
Yep. That's the one they took out of Eververse and they put in the aspirational activity.
Exactly. So they want to give players a reason to play it. It's thematically not tied to it.
That's what we know damn well. The Prophecy ain't got nothing to do with Daito. Like who's selling Daito items in the Prophecy raid?
Everybody thinks it's Dato's armor. It's fine.
Clearly, one of the nines has a Daito like thing, but I mean, so that's why they do have the original trial set as also a set that drops from it, which makes more sense than the Daito one. But I can at least appreciate the fact that so when Pit of Heresy came out, I was excited for it. I was like, "Holy shit, this is dope."
He's gonna lose it.
Don't get me started.
He's gonna lose it.
And then I ran it with Pyro, and we did the first encounter. Chest popped up, and that purple engram came out, and I picked it up, and it was a Dreambane armor set. And I was like,
"Here's last year's flavor from the new raid, from the new dungeon, y'all."
It was the moon and not related to Pit.
It was the armor from the story that you're forced to get already.
Check it out.
Here I am running a new sick pinnacle activity. And I'm getting story armor.
Check it out. Masterwork for perfection.
And then Masterwork with trash stats on the end as well.
Garbage stats. No 60. Let's go.
It hasn't even been fixed.
Hot fire for you for that hard work.
So that was probably it was just such a kick in the
Yep,
area.
I got you. Yeah.
Where
the area.
Where like it's sucks. So I can appreciate that they gave this dungeon not only one but two armor sets
They get two.
To chase.
We gotta do better though, man. We can't let them off the hook. We come from the Crota's raid. We come from the Oryx.
I'm gonna put it here in the Discord chat. What my D1 character looked like, and this is something that
you'll have to pull it.
I'll look. Yeah,
this is something that you cannot replicate in D2 with any of the raid armor. It's
if you take the end of Rise of Iron, every one of those sets in the end when they redid those raid armors, with the spikes out of Crota, all 4 sets were amazing. Bro. Like I can't look right now because
what it is it's for y'all. Remember, it's that bro. He's got the Necrochasm. Then he's got the Crota. I believe the Crota set chest piece. What is that? The Crota helmet too?
No, so that's actually the Crota chest piece, and the rest of the armor is the ornamented set from King's Fall.
From King's Fall, yes. You can't look like oh my god, you look like a dark god in it. It's just it's beast.
So you see a character like that in Destiny 1 in the tower, and you're like, holy shit,
I'm doing that raid tomorrow.
Right.
That's the goal. Exactly.
Right. There's not been something like that in Destiny 2.
Yeah, sorry, Crystal. I know. And the chat's like, can we see it? He sent it. It's an image.
Hold on.
Yeah, it's an image. So we'll try to work on it so you do see it. But again, it's those moments in D1 again that made me play the raid. I never forget why people want to know why I'm so infatuated with Trials. I remember it was like yesterday. I went to the tower. It was another warlock, and he was out here looking like Anubis and Amun-Ra. I'm like, where do you get this at? Like, I'm doing this now. Like, that's what they miss. And again, I step in the right direction out of the Everforce store. I give you that. Step in the right direction. However, it needs to be thematically exactly to the... Yeah, let's go. There we go. Yeah, he was looking like a dark god. That was fire. That was fire. Got the
Necrochasm in Destiny 1 was my Graviton lens.
Yeah.
That's the one I know.
No one's surprise.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the one. If it ever comes back, you'll lose your mind. And I think I remember on Twitter you were like hoping with all the Hive stuff coming, you're like, Necro.
Yeah. They gotta bring it back.
I think I remember you were hoping for that secretly on Twitter. Yeah. If I remember.
Right. Dude, every day.
No, you get it. I think you guys are getting it. It may be. I don't know if it's. I feel like when Scarlet Witch comes out,
Witch Queen.
I always butcher the name. I know. Here he comes with the correction. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I already knew it's coming. I always butcher it. So, like, I do feel they're going to introduce King's Fall though, as the reprised one. Like, I know Vault is coming for this one
for year 4
for Beyond. Yeah, but for some reason, hey, we never know. We might get it though. We might get it.
You know what that can imply, right?
Talk.
We're gonna see a reprise of Vex Mythoclans?
Oh, we got to. We have to.
We got it, right?
We got to. Come on now.
Right? That's scary.
You can't have Vault of Glass and not have Vex Mythoclans going forward.
Bro, like, it's a given. As far as I'm concerned, it's a given. with Fatebringer and what? It's going to be lit. Listen, that alone will sell people on that stuff. Like,
100%.
You all I got to do is do the... Could you imagine the marketing team teaser trailer? And then while they're going through all the new content, and then they're like, dun, 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 now, Fatebringer. Like, people are going to... So many people have such an emotional attachment to these weapons. It's going to go crazy.
All they would have to do is just like kind of tease Vault of Glass, right? Mm-hmm. Just like the with the new lighting and everything.
I bet that's season 14, if I had to guess.
Fade the screen to black and just have the sound effect of the Vex Mythoclast shooting.
Oh, yeah.
And then people will just...
People are going to lose it.
Gone. I know, yeah.
I know people, tons of my friends who quit Destiny that would come back just for that. That's how much that those weapons and that raid is beloved. It's a lot of people's nostalgic first experience. And they're sitting on a ton of stuff, man. I'm not even
Oracle sounds too. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody did that on the keyboard. I lost it. That was so
it's dope. So good.
Yeah. Shout out to the fire.
So Beyond Light's exciting. I'm hoping there's so much we don't know, and it's the fact that they I don't know when they're going to tell us the rest. And I know we still have 2.5 months till it's going to be a thing, but I mean, we're wondering, it's like, okay, so how much are we going to get? Like, when is, we know Cosmodrome's coming back, like, for New Light in Season 12, and then later on we'll get more, and then VOG will probably be even after that and everything like that nature. So I'm very curious when they'll tell us, like, with teaser trailers, oh, by the way, here's your bonus raid. And that thing drops, man. Oh, that's going to be crazy.
Well, they said year 4 for that, for Vault of Glass.
Well, if spring is always, if it's always the doldrums of spring, with Worthy and Drifter and everything else, that that's the perfect place for them to be like, hey, just in case you feel like this season's quiet, we brought you back VOG. So even if it's Season of the Drifter, here's VOG. Like, Season of Worthy, 14's my guess. If I had to wager now, it's 14. Because that'll be the quiet before 15 will lead into Witch Queen. So that's like kind of always the spring quiet nature.
Yeah. Yeah,
because they said it's not coming at the start.
Right. Oh, they did say that. Oh, they confirmed that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sometime in year 4.
Oh, okay.
So it's not Beyond Light. It's sometime in year 4.
Because listen, Beyond Light's going to be packed already. So it's perfect to reprise that when, and it makes sense from a content delivery standpoint. Like it's basically old assets that they just got to, bring up, which I'm
curious how they're going to like invisibly wall off the part of Venus. That because it's a patrol zone is where you start. So like, how are they going to just like have just the zone and the skybox and nothing else out there?
That's a good question.
I'm sure they'll like block it off with like some of the environment.
Do you think they'll have that opening section though with Venus, or do you think they'll more start you inside and take that part out?
No, I think they gotta start you outside.
Bro.
They gotta start you outside.
I'm asking again.
Easy. Don't you mess with my nostalgia. We gonna build that spire.
Exactly, yeah.
We gonna build that spire.
I'm just thinking like that's more of like they start pulling Venus in at that point. So I was just kind of curious. So
why you always be messing with my nostalgic moments? I noticed this. I know you have this thing where you know they could butcher your joint and take that out.
This coming from the guy who puts words in my mouth just to spring a fight up in chat. So yeah,
I'm just saying. He's like, well, what if Trials is this? And I'm like, why with my stuff you always got to create these terrible?
I'm sorry if I said something bad about Trials. I was probably right the way it's gone.
See, there you go. Don't put that. Keep your energy over there with your negative self.
Oh, we lost a man.
See, you upset them. That's his connection, y'all. He'll be back. Yeah, man, leave my joint alone. Y'all know we're back. He upset them. It's made them leave and everything, man.
Talked about it so he's like, I'm out. This call's over.
No, I get what you say. All jokes aside, listen, it's something they have to tackle, right? But I can't see them getting rid of it. It's just for the simple fact that was literally the essence of the raid, was creating that spire. And people.
Oh, I know. I just like it'll be like invisible walls. You just can't go around, and they're gonna have to develop enough that you figure out where you stop, and that's basically it. So just be curious how they do it. Is all.
Yeah, man.
But I do want to ask you guys for Iron Banner and stuff like that to kind of bring it back to current times, since I could speculate about the future forever. Matchmaking. Curious your guys' thoughts as Iron Banner. This is the first time they took out skill-based and it's pure connection-based matchmaking. Like it, don't like it. I've just seen different sides of it on Twitter, so I'm just kind of curious where you guys are standing. Nem? The man with the Superman curl. I can't not look at that one hair, by the way, dude. It's literally like, it's the Superman curl. Do you fix the hair and pick the one and pull it down?
He said you picked the one.
Is it intentional? I gotta know.
It's not intentional.
Okay, because I was like, it's
100% not intentional. No, like it takes a lot of product to keep the shit up. So I've been wearing it since because my hair is a disaster if I don't have stuff on it. So it's the end of the day. I've been having this since like 8 o'clock in the morning, so it's starting to come down a little bit. But anyways. Iron Banner. So here's the thing with the matchmaking thing. I know I play a lot of Crucible, right? I play a lot of Crucible. I don't consider myself like a Crucible though, like sweaty person. Obviously,
you're pretty damn good though.
I mean, that's subjective. I don't
selling himself short over here. Just ask Chris Buff when they go 1-on-1.
I haven't felt a whole lot of difference. And again, that's probably just because I don't see the Crucible super objectively. I just go in there and shoot shit, and if I get shot, cool. If I shoot other people, cool.
Yeah.
So, it's hard for me to really tell too much of a difference. Honestly, like the biggest thing that I've noticed since we did this change is control matches now seem to be, and I know I'm gonna get shit if like either Stark or Crit or like are still watching right now.
He's coming back.
Hold on, we lost him.
Yep, told you he be right back on time, like he do. Said Prescott. Oh, Prescott agrees. Prescott says, okay. Yeah, I'll jump in while he's connecting. You know, for me, it's one of those things where it is, my experience has been, it's been a pub stomp or I've stomped. I don't feel it's like in between. And you know, look, from a connection standpoint, for the most part, I had no issue. From a,
I mean, that's the idea, so hope not.
Yeah, I haven't had an issue, you know, in that respect. Now, I have been running with teams, you know what I'm saying, a lot. So I don't know what the solo experience is a lot this season. I haven't really played solo banner. Like normally I play a lot of solo banner, but this one I didn't. So, you know, I've been hearing stories, you know what I'm saying, of people just like, this is brutal, you know what I'm saying, just trying to get stuff done and getting killed. I know you play solo a lot. So I know, you know, there goes Dem. So I want to let's get him back on point. He was making some points. There you go, Dem. You're back.
All right, sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah, so the one thing that I've noticed now is people go in with a bigger focus to slay.
Right.
So matches usually end up like in a loss a little bit more now because people are just trying to like just, you know, play it. They play Clash. But I feel like before we had this change, people played Control a little bit more objectively. And I know I'm the type of player who kind of skips over zones, but
you missed the
You're the non-team player,
Damn it,
no, look, I'm the one jerk who will capture the first zone and just pretend the rest don't exist.
So you're like, the teammates got that, I got people to kill.
Yo, okay, it's a team effort. Other people can capture the zone, and I'll get the kills. You know, I'm just saying.
Oh my god, not saying they sold them.
He's like, hey, I got the gunplay. You go stand still. Just don't die. I'm going to use my weapon skills and my Nova Warps to kill people. You, Blueberry, sitting in the corner, just stay there. Stay alive. Don't die.
Will you at least put your foot on the circle for a triple cap? So that salad, at least for when you're close to a triple cap?
In Iron Banner, I will make the effort.
Okay. In Banner.
In Banner, I'll make the effort because it matters more there.
Yes.
Yeah,
but in regular Control...
You like whatever.
Meh.
Meh. At least, yeah, he's honest. He's owning it. I respect that. I respect that.
Man.
Good to you. So for overall your experience, though, you just feel like, you know, it's
not a whole lot different. Yeah.
Okay.
Like I've played with the majority of this Iron Banner. I've played it with friends, and it's been either we steamroll or we get steamrolled.
Hold on, yo. Outsanity just came for you. He said them is like the people who run ahead in strikes and die, and I just stop by them and go on my way. Damn, Outsanity.
They're like, said that?
Outsanity. That's one of ours. Oh,
okay, yeah. You're right.
Run ahead. I'll go take care of this. And you're just waiting there.
So in my experience, it'll be more like I'm going, and then I'll just blink slightly further than I intended, and
you can't recover as a warlock. There's no recover.
One, as a warlock, you don't have a whole lot of recovery. Two, It's a Blink Warlock. You got even less.
Yeah. That's a fact.
So, if you boop, if you like zoop wrong, you are bye.
Yeah, you're done.
It's all over, dude.
Yeah. No, I mean, listen, like I said, for me, I've been playing mostly team this Iron Banner. So I don't have a full perspective on what it's like to be running solo banner with connection base. For me, it's just been explosive. It's been, we stomping or we get mercied quick. You know what I'm saying? So from a speed standpoint, I guess the matches are going quick. I know a lot of the higher skill guys love it, and they're just like, hey, I get to have some fun and I don't have to, play against super sweaty all the time. And, I get that, and then there's, I just want to make sure that we have enough evidence that people who are running solo are having fun. Because that's my concern. You know what I'm saying? I know me and E have talked about possibly like how we have in comp, maybe a lone wolf queue, right? Like a solo Iron Banner queue for those guys who don't have a stack. Because I would assume, again, that it can't be the funnest, going up against complete, stack solo. And I know E, I know you're about to talk about it. So, that's where I'm at. I mean, I can't really comment because I'm actually having fun. And my experience, yes, when the times we got stomped, Saladin threw up the flag and was like, we're going to mercy this now. You guys are out of there. And, that was it. Shout out to Tease and Teddy because, Concern came through on us. Team Concerned, they came through, boy. They got us up out of there one match. But then they was like, we went on like an 8 streak of just stomping people. And I can't front. When you're on the good side of it, you're like, yo, this is great.
I was about to say, like, you're chilling and having a good time.
Think about the other 8 teams you just played against.
But the other team that's not great at PvP and are trying to get some pinnacle gear and finish some bounties.
I agree,
They're
brother.
probably like, oh, I'm not just
they like F this
anymore.
Game. Yeah. And that's this is the difference between me and most, because again, I consider myself above average PvP player. I'm not just, God, definitely not. But, my thing is I think about the health of the community of the game, right? I want people to keep playing. So if they're telling me, like, hey, we getting stomped, I hate it. Like, I'm a trials guy. I don't want those guys to go away. You need those guys for the pool. You know what I mean? Right. So that's why I want to make sure that we actually still cater to them on some level, so they still stay invested and want to play the activity. But E, you're up. I know you had a lot to say on this.
No, I mean, I've seen both sides, and I can say it's like you take the M-Test, you take the high level skills, and they're like, man, I'm so tired that every time I go into a PvP match, it's sweaty.
Right.
And sometimes they just want to have fun.
Yep. Shout out to my man
when
Forte.
This goes active, it's like then when this goes active, I see some of them post up like an 80 kill game, and I'm like, Jesus, what the?
They love it.
I was like, and they're having an absolute blast, but the people on the other side getting 0.1, 0.1, 0.2 and getting just stepped on. Like, that's one person who now feels like, hey, I get to feel like a god for, more often because I'm playing against people who aren't even near my skill level and I can just squish them like bugs. But on the other side, you have an entire team hating their life.
Reevaluate your life.
No, but that's the thing. And that's kind of the thing. I'm with you guys. I had some mercied. I had some I got mercied. Yeah. Totally get that. And this is where like the solo queue, maybe the solo queue would be skill and maybe the regular one could be connection. Yeah. Because if you go solo skill, basically the main reason I'm even bringing any of this up, I've had the back and forth. I stomped some people. I was like, cool.
Yeah.
I got squished. Cool. But there was one time I got squished. It wasn't like anything else I played. And if somebody played multiple matches the way it was 78-8. We didn't hit double digits, and I had 3 of those kills. I had 3 of the kills on the bad team. And no one else. Some people had zeros. A couple people had it was decimal fractions.
They kept the wolves the whole mercy. Like they kept capping the wolves. I was like, what team did they put me with? What's going on here? Yeah. And that can't feel good. And the last point, to jump on your point, is I don't know if was me, but I did feel spawns were a little weird.
Well, the game that I was talking about, it was, I always can never remember the damn maps. It's the Nessus one, where heavy can be down underneath between the two little
endless veil.
Yes.
It was that one. Oh, they were spawn farming us constantly. As soon as they got it cycled, as soon as they got the cycle, and it was a 6-stack.
Yeah.
I know it was a 6-stack because I looked. Yeah. So if you're a solo player and you hit a 6-stack that is running that well, you will set that game down for a little because it's just like
it was rough. The spawn killing was crazy versus 6. So again, to your point, E, if I'm the new guy, and these are my experiences, you know what I'm saying? I can understand. You know what I'm saying? I can relate to that. I can empathize with that.
That's rough.
So it's like, and and I don't want to say like, hey, the people who don't want to be sweaty all the time, they don't want to play sweaty on. But on the other side, it's like, so what the really high skilled person is like, hey, I want to go crush some people for a little while.
Facts. Talk that talk.
No, but I was like, that's what they're going for. And it's like, but sometimes for them, it's like, hey, everything's tense. And I'm like, okay, for me, tense is at my level or worse. If it's like worse,
let's just get controversial. If you that good, you should be playing with people who are the same size as you. Stop picking on the kid. Listen, let's just say what it is.
Like, that's a huge controversy on Twitter, and I'm always watching different sides, and I'm always kind of curious. It's just interesting. It's like, so you want to feel godly for a little while. That's what they want. And it's always just interesting to see, making it harder for people to want to step into iron potassium. Iron banana, yeah. It's one, and as I'm average, like I'm okay at PvP. I don't suck. I have some games where I do well. I had one where I went like 31 and had a 4.5 KD, and I'm like, that was actually, I felt good. And so I had those, and that's the one where like, yeah, they probably were getting tired of me killing them because I was going off. But on the other side, when I'm okay, and if I have 3 kills and we have a total of 8 points, something's wrong.
That's an issue.
I'm like, I don't suck that bad, and I can't hardly move. And I'm getting team shot, like 3 people running as group around every person that spawns.
I feel you.
And it's like, that was the extreme. And no, I only had one that was that bad.
I feel you.
So it's like most of mine, like you guys, won some, lose some. And I'm kind of like you, Nim. I'm like, I'm not taking it all that seriously, working on bounties, shooting people, having fun, messing with my own stuff. Hey, is this gnawing hunger good? Hey, how's this forward path? Is it good? Is the range now that it's -40 if I got this weird? I'm having that new perk is so weird. The -40 range that turns it into a submachine gun. Odd.
Yeah.
But it's just like when you get stepped on that bad, that's the times. If you put yourself in casual shoes, they're like, screw this.
I'm out. They're like, I'm out. Yeah.
And especially if that's one of the places casuals can go for pinnacles, kind of hurts a little more.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's all about.
That's the thing. That last sentence right there, that was an interesting one because we have a hard cap, which is the 1050, right? That's kind of like supposed to be the stop point for quote unquote casual player, right? Because the initial thing for Pinnacle power level was for those who wanted something a little extra that shakes. And I think that's where Iron Banner comes in. That's going to be for like that, that demographic of people that are chasing that. So maybe like sure, to someone who doesn't raid often, this might seem like an avenue for maybe getting a little bit more power.
Absolutely.
But I think at the end of the day, like it's definitely more targeted towards like that group of people that are like, all right, they're more involved with the game than someone who will just kind of like play a couple of hours a week. So yeah, that's my stance with that.
I get it. It's like I said, it's a balance that they just gotta figure out. I still feel they're kind of experimenting. I was actually surprised, you know what I'm saying, when I heard that they were going to do connection based for this. Let's give it a shot and stuff like that. Bungie's all about the numbers. They're all about data. You know what I mean? So I think they're compiling right now, and I was curious. I'm very curious to see if the next Iron Banner will remain that way, or what conclusion they come up with based on the results of this one.
I'd love to see them try a solo skill Iron Banner. Be curious.
That'd be interesting.
For like connection for whatever. You play teams, go stomp, go whatever. Yeah. Or if you go solo skill, kind of live in your zone.
That'd be interesting.
I love solo skill comp. I got a lot done in solo skill comp. So, it helps. There's nothing worse than obviously you the solo guy. Like when you start a match and you just know you're playing up against a stack and you're just like, yeah, this is going to be a long
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like
that match can't get over soon enough.
Yeah, you like this. Like again, the Edo. Like again, I'm above average. If I'm on my team and I'm dominating and I'm carrying the team, we got a problem. Like I shouldn't be dominating and carrying and looking like a superstar out here just to keep it competitive. Like, nah. That's when you just know. Okay, you see what this is gonna be. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was gonna ask you guys real quick since we're in the topic of Iron Banner.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had basically the same formula for Iron Banner since Destiny 1.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely, aesthetically speaking, it's definitely geared more towards having a thematic approach to the Iron Lords.
Right.
But do you guys think it's about time for Iron Banner to become its own thing?
In what sense?
Because if you take a look at it, it's a glorified control game.
Yep. Yes.
That comes around like 3 times per season or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned, like if you look at Iron Banner in D1, it's literally just control, but with a different set of rewards.
Yeah.
And now they've definitely done a little bit more work where you have like the fire pits for the control.
Right.
You have the different like rule set. If you cap all 3, you lock them all down.
Yep.
And you have Saladin as the VO instead of Shax.
Yep.
But I feel like we've gotten to the point where Iron Banner feels stale. And I'm just not talking like just game mode wise, but like overall, I think for a game mode that comes around 3 times on the lifetime of a season, I feel like it needs to become its own thing to get for people to get excited about it again. Because after a while, I'm sure for like most people, it's like, oh, Iron Banner,
right?
Got some bounties, maybe.
Yep, yeah. There's some bounties to do, and there's a lot of lore that they can use to create a like extremely unique like PvP game. Like introduce a capture the hill, but with the Iron Axe from the Archon's Forge.
Let me jump in because you say some stuff that's touching me because obviously Lord Cognito Iron Lords podcast, it was founded off of that whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Rise of Iron, but look, Iron Lords are near and dear to me. I love that whole story. I love the lore behind it. Here's the problem. The problem is I love what you're thinking, but I think Bungie has probably seen, think about this. The few times that Iron Banner in D1 tried to be Rift, tried to be Clash, right? People push back. People were like, oh, why do we got to do this? Bring back control. We hate this. I'm not playing Iron Banner this week because it's this. I've seen it. Like I was
the Rift guy, by the way.
Trust me, I actually never got upset when Iron Banner tried to do another mode.
Why?
I was like, let's go. It's just different. Like, what's the big deal? But I'm not playing it. Da, da, da. So we know Control Iron Banner is the favorite. I love that they've got the thematic stuff. And if you remember, I think, was it? I'm losing track of my memory. I'm getting old now. Which one Aphrodite came back? Was it
Rise of Iron?
Rise of Iron.
Wasn't she the host for a little bit or something? Like you would go to her for the bounties or something?
You would go to her, yeah.
Yep.
Right. They were trying things. And I was just like, I thought it was cool. Like, do different this. Again, like you said, there's so much with this lore. Right?
Yeah.
There's so much with the Iron Lords. Like, they could really do other things thematically in conjunction with the mode. Because I agree with you, Nem. It is kind of stale after a while. It's like, okay, just a pinnacle chase. You do your battle as you go. Okay, cool. But, like, there's so much more you can do. And to be honest.
Oh, absolutely.
I think Saladin is disrespected as a character. He's just that now. Like, like, let's be real. Like, we just came off of Season of the Unworthy. And we just learned. That's
been his phrase all season.
Oh yeah, that's trash. I hate that. Worst season in this. No disrespect, but I'm sorry. I just gotta call it how it is. But the thing is, we just came off of an informational bombshell. Fell Winter, right? an Iron Lord who is secretly the son of whatever. Wouldn't we like to know how Saladin feels about this?
Yeah.
We don't even get no new dialogue from Saladin. We ain't getting nothing. Like, Saladin just comes through, nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I just found out one of my guys was, a plant from a war mind. No big deal. We're not going to talk about, I don't have any vengeance. I don't have anything. I'm just going to come drop this hot pot and give you some weapons and leave. So that's what your man do. He come with the hot pot.
That's a good point. I never looked at it through that lens.
That's why I get so mad with them, because this game has such of the best lore that is not connected. That there's no connective threads and no one feels away and nothing. They just need New Red lore doesn't move a product. I actually disagree, bro. I think lore does move it if it's done and connected well, because you'll have an emotional attachment to said thing. Look how crazy we getting over.
I mean, Vance never got his handshake or bro hug or anything from Osiris.
Even the biggest fanboy of Osiris ain't even get to meet the dude in the cinema yet. Like, come on, same thing. No bro hug between Osiris and Saint. Bro, I just saved you. Like, where's this at? These are huge things.
That's lore. You 100% will move it. Will move a product. Look at Season of Dawn alone.
Yeah.
Think about how we felt. Saint 14 came through that thing, bro.
Right. Yeah. Saint 14 was a character that existed in scripture only. Like the only thing that we had ever seen of Saint 14 was his helmet, and up until more recently, like the shotgun was a thing. Facts. And then season of Dawn, which again, as we stated earlier on, it's a season. It's not a DLC by any means necessary, and it was one of the better seasons because narratively speaking, you are bringing a character back to life. That's lore.
That's lore, bro. And here's the thing. Lore. Think about Last Wish Raid. I remember, dude, as a warlock, as a voidlock, right? You're a voidlock. Think about how we always love Amankara, that helmet. We've had that helmet for the longest, right? I didn't know what it was. I didn't know what it tied to. Eventually learned out about dragons, whatever. And then Last Wish Raid comes. And you get our first Amankara. Like, these are moments, bro. Like, that connects. Because you're like, I had that exact from D1. I always wanted to know what it was. And now we're actually fighting the last living fire. Like, they just sitting on stuff. And I'm with you. I think, the story with the back to Iron Banner with Saladin and stuff. There's so much. Salute to one of the wolves right now. I hear him. Salute to the wolves.
I don't know if that's a wolf.
The wolves are howling. So man, I just think it's so cool. There's so much they could do narratively, and even give it a PvE piece. Like, I'm with you, man. It should be more than just relegated to just a control thing. Yeah, and should have a little bit more to it besides just doing honest. But what you at, E?
I mean, I can't agree enough from what you guys are saying, because we've got, as you said, you've got 8 Iron Lords that we got to see in the cinematics, a couple that we played with. Ephrodite, I don't know what's up with Ephrodite. Bife probably knows where she's at or doing
Bife
things.
Knows. Yeah.
But it's like game. I know people threw fits when they changed up. Why is it not control? I honestly would be very curious now if you would have a different tone, because all we've had is control for so long. If people would be like, try something different.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love for them to introduce Rift, but as you're saying, it's like, so when you're saying if it's its own thing, is it just a permanent note on the director and Saladin's just chilling there? Or you want him to be?
When I say its own thing, and I'm using this just as a comparison, but chat, don't freak out. I'm saying its own thing, like if we compare it to Gambit. Like Gambit, it's its own play mode. Like it's its own PvE, PvP thing. Like, have Iron Banner be some sort of I don't want to say gladiatorial, because it's not the right comparison, but you when you think of the Iron Lords, you think of that the Dark Ages of where they used to kind of watch over and reign. So have some sort of, I don't know. It's got to be some sort of objective PvP thing, because it ultimately shit was crazy back when the Iron Lords were a thing. Oh yeah, you know what I mean?
The warlords was out in them streets,
right? And I mean, at least that's what I would love to see. I would love to see something just completely refreshed to kind of embrace that, theme of like the Iron Lords.
Oh yeah,
instead of it being Control with Saladin's voiceover.
Yeah, I feel you.
No,
maybe a PvE component in conjunction when it comes around.
Possibly. I mean, like I've always had it in like this idea of like having Iron Banner as kind of like an arena where you like almost like a type of like Archon's Forge type of deal.
Okay.
But you can throw in, opponents in there as well.
Oh, you're talking my language right now. I'm all for this. I'm for all of this Spartacus, Gladiator. Let's get it. Yeah. I'm for all that.
And like a lot of that armor, like at least in Destiny 1, it gives off that vibe.
Bro, and remember the furnace pieces, chest piece with
the
I missed those, the firing
exactly.
And the with they the best ornaments going. That Iron Banner. Talk that.
100%, dude. So I would love to see Iron Banner evolve into something like that, where it's more arena based, more gladiatorial, or again, like they have a mechanic in the game that they have not used, which is the Iron Lord battle axe from Archon's Forge.
King of the hill with that thing.
No,
yeah, man.
Like a true, different moments to like true Guardian testing, because isn't it an extension? Is his version of the Crucible? It's an extension of what Guardians should be doing, and stuff like that. There's so much, man. I mean, in your defense, they've done a good job with Saint building, Osiris thematically, right? So yeah, he needs that as well. It's so much there, man. So much, man. I agree. I completely agree. New Red Punko hate that club. You're so disrespectful, New Red. You're so disrespectful. Damn it, New Red. Be nice.
And I guess this kind of wraps up what we've talked about for weeks now is, I mean, we get 2 Iron Banner weapons, kind of reskinned, couple new perks. Not like, I mean, you think of the weapons we'd have in the years of Iron Banner for Destiny 1. Yeah. But they had Activision behind them. They had a couple different studios they worked with when it went into Destiny 2. And now that they're really on their own, we will continue to see how much we can ask of them.
Yeah.
Between what we get in the fall. And it's like, I would love, like, hey, they bring back Rift. We get an entire new set. I mean, how many times have we been getting the same? How many times have I had Crimilli's Dagger as a hand cannon drop in 3 years?
Horrible. It's been hard. Let's call it what it's been. Iron Man just hasn't gotten any love. It's just, it really is. I mean, I remember, like, you would log in and there's a weapon pool that you get, the Nerwin Mercies Day, the Clever Dragon Days. Like every week you get that introduction of something. We have been getting remixed weapons and we've been getting the same armor sets. But let's keep it a buck, just because we got an ornament slot now. Now I can put a mod in there. Now, like, it's nothing new. Drop it. Like, it's just been remix after remix, and I'm just like, yeah, I'm with you. It definitely needs an overhaul. It's not a highly anticipated activity as it used to be, and it's just literally a pinnacle drop activity. That's all it is.
Yeah, right, it's for something that comes around 3 times during a season, so a lifetime.
Exactly. For as frequent as it comes, it needs some love. I'm completely with y'all.
Yeah, we don't even have it on the calendar anymore because they don't even but I know they're trying to give less away on the calendars for what's coming in the season, but
which I can appreciate.
But that's also, I wonder if that's them also trying to downplay it as well. Yeah, because again, this is where you got to wonder. It's like, how much can they do? Is there anything cool coming in the fall? We're asking a lot of the fall, but like we have been staring at this stuff for 3 years now, so it's time.
No, I'm with you. I mean, listen, and my last point on it, I'll leave it alone. I understand resources. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I really do. And I try to be empathetic towards that. And to be honest, the reason why I'm giving them a pass on it this season is because, I'm going to be real, I didn't think we would get no dungeon. I was shocked that we got Prophecy. I'll be honest. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I look at that. That's resources. That's allocating, to a team. Now, yes, granted, I know it's supposed to be going away. It's not this one's not staying. Hopefully they'll explain why.
Coming back later for what?
Coming back later, right? Yeah. So I think it's really cool that they gave us that. I'm definitely gonna be jumping in. I still think there's a chance that we get some reprise. When I think that Iron Banner thing happens, is we're going to have to revisit a season where he is the focus and the Iron Lords are the focus again. And I think it's time. You know what I'm saying? I think it's time. We've had a lot going on in the lore, but I think it's time that they can get like a season or whatever that involves something going on with the Iron Lords, and then we can get some story beats with that.
It's going to be interesting considering we kind of have a light guide as to what the next couple of years of Destiny is going to look like.
Right.
With like, the Age of Darkness now coming into play and Savathun, in the system and making her presence known a lot more now. So
yeah, absolutely. What else we got you?
I mean, that kind of covers everything we got for the week. I mean, it's a quiet week. We actually have Titan coming next week. But I mean, that was basically...
We have Moments of Triumph starting next week, and that has been unspoken of.
Really? Is it next week?
I forgot it was next week. Yeah, I remember because I know Solstice of Heroes is coming later.
Wow. That's interesting.
Moments of Triumph starts next
How
reset.
How did they not talk about that?
Not even in the TWAB, dude.
It's not it's not in the blog. It was in the message when I logged in.
Yeah, Moments of Triumph, July 7th is. I mean,
he's right.
That's almost 3 months long. So I mean, that's you trying to check every box for how. I mean, that's going to be go make sure you get your go do Scourge, go do Leviathan. That's going to be you check every box for the past 3 years. So they're going to give you as long as possible because normally Moments of Triumph doesn't even jump in this early. Like they shorten some of those maybe last 6 weeks or whenever it's been. It's usually shorter every time.
Yeah, but how could they? That was right. Like, how could they introduce it without talking about it?
There was no mention of like what was coming with it or like the armor, which typically we kind of hear about that like a week before it starts.
Yeah, before it starts,
so they can start hyping that up.
Hyping it up.
No, we have no like. Yeah, unless like in what Kevin's saying.
Yeah.
In chat, that they'll announce it on Bungie Day, but that's still weird. It's reset.
I was like, that's 7/7.
That's the day.
Things are going to go live. Like, what is it? An hour before. Here's all your information an hour before things go live, and then because they're prepping everything for the patch that day because we're going to get one there. Yeah. But again, I wonder Moments of Triumph because there's new Triumphs, new seals. So I honestly doesn't say it.
Oh wait, sorry. I think I'm thinking
Solstice of Heroes. Yeah, Solstice has the armor, and that's a month later. So we got the armor, new glowing legendary armor for Solstice. Looks kind of sick. But Moments of Triumph, I wonder if it truly is like, here's your checkboxes for the year, and there isn't as much to hype about it. I'll be kind of curious if that's why.
They definitely ain't talking about it. This is interesting.
Yeah.
That is what I didn't know it was starting that soon. I didn't catch. I knew Solstice was a little later, and Solstice is about a month, but this is literally July 22nd to launch of Beyond Light.
I can't even remember what did
everything
they
else
do for last Moment of Triumph. I don't even remember.
I mean, it's what did we get the burgundy shirt for that one? Because I think we've both worn it at this point.
Oh, that's the joint where that's the joint where we get our crest.
Yeah, Moments of Triumph.
Did you all of this that we did?
Did you play the campaign? Yep.
Did you play that? Right.
Didn't they introduce the EAZ with the last one?
That was Solstice.
That was Solstice. Yeah, that was Solstice.
God, I hope that comes back. The EAZ is such an underrated area, dude.
Yeah, I liked it.
They really have to stop taking stuff away.
I know.
I love that, dude. Like, can you imagine like a 12v12 like on the EAZ, dude?
Oh, dude, that'd be fantastic.
That'd be so good.
I think we had this discussion last time too. That would require either next gen or different engine because 12v12 might break Destiny if you got 10 Nova bombs flying back and forth at each other. You might just shut down a PS4 just hears all that calculation going. It's just like shut it.
Shout out to my boy Ken. I didn't get to experience it. Yeah, it'll come back. I think it'll come back.
Hopefully they don't screw the armor up. Like, because I mean, what was it? The army you grinded for wasn't even the one you kept, and wasn't even that great of stats and stuff. It was just like
I still have it too.
That grind hurts. Like that you go through all that, and then it wasn't worth much anyway.
I mean, they brought it forward, but then you couldn't even put one of the seasonal mods in it.
Yeah, and the Armor 2.0 version, it had a very mediocre stat roll.
Terrible stat rolls. Yeah, I got them too. And
they're like, but it's a free beat. It's like they're like, but it's your free set. I'm like, dude, I grinded my butt off for that one. You better make it worthwhile.
That set they made us grind.
Oh, that was I got it for all three because I wanted the ship, which I still have on my hunter, which not a lot of people probably have. because it was unique and I knew not a lot of people were going to have it. But man, that was rough.
Bro,
and I think I even had to go pretty hard towards the end too.
Masterworking, it took a lot.
Took a lot. Yeah, I mastered where I got my flames up. Man, my dawn blade was looking sick.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I was like, we've kept you for a while, so I don't want to keep you too long. I gotta respect your time. So you're like, dude, I can talk for all night long, and we know, believe me, we can talk forever, but we like to respect your time too. So, probably can work on wrapping this thing up next week. At least we'll see two things apparently, Titan and Moments. So we'll definitely have more to talk about next week. But man, dude, I'm glad we got you on. Like it's been a long time in the making. So
I know I had a really good time hanging out with you guys tonight. It was such a blast.
Likewise, brother. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, man.
Well, I'm gonna ask chat real quick. We got a couple people to raid actually. When we wrap this thing up, we always got to do a little wrap up first. But we got Gamma Trap, artist, Miss Noodle, another awesome artist, and Aries, who's playing right now as well. So got a couple people we'll have to send you guys to here in a second. So if you got any idea of those three, got a very own Aries mod and a couple others. But yeah. But before we go, Nem, just for all the people who want to find you, whether it's your awesome pictures, your your new music production, you're going to be putting out some awesome new dropping some new singles out there.
There you go.
Let everybody know where they can find you, what they can look for from you, anything you got coming in the future. This is your time.
Yeah. I mean, so with the limited time that I have nowadays, basically anything that I post is going to be over on my Twitter, which is just twitter.com/NemPlays. It's usually where I post like most of my gaming clips or sometimes spicy takes. Definitely if you're a fan of like screenshots and stuff like that, I do have a public folder on my bio with a bunch of like 2K resolutions, screenshots that you can use for like wallpapers, stream backgrounds, whatever you want. I usually try to update it every season with new stuff. So you can keep an eye out on that. I think I'm not sure when this is going to happen, but I will be on another podcast. So if you guys want to, tune into that.
Absolutely. Talk to us.
What do you got going?
Where we at? Where you going to be at? Oh, it's in development yet. We're still under wrap.
It's in development yet. I'm not sure when, but it's safe to say, I'm sure you guys have heard of it. It's a Fire Team Chat from IGN. So keep your eyes peeled for that.
It's going down.
Yeah, so I'm pretty excited.
Joining them.
Let's go.
They asked me on for an episode, so
that's fantastic, man.
Fire.
Pretty stoked.
One boy got called to the big league. Let's go. He got his jersey. Be fun. Let's go. That's dope.
Well, definitely, guys, make sure you go find that episode. Blow it up for this man, because we're fans of Fire Team Chat. We met Destin and Fran and a couple of those guys. That's
Fran's
awesome.
such a cool dude.
Yeah. So
that's probably what I got going on in the near future. So.
Well, that's freaking fantastic.
That's fire. Bro, let me tell you, the two most proud, as a Destiny fan, the two most proudest things I would probably be is DCP. the little picture, you guys got your little picture, both of you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And Fire Teacher. Oh, that's awesome, bro. You'd make both, man. You'd be, that'd be kind of cool. You'd be a both jerseys, so to speak. You know what I'm saying? That would be dope, man.
It's really cool.
I'm definitely check out for you on that big time.
That's awesome. What about you, Cognito? What do you got coming up this weekend?
Yeah, man. You already know. Iron Lord Podcast every Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern is the Lord's Day. So, we will have my boy Hustle and Motivate. He will be in the building. Big Sony guy. So, we're going to talk about what's going on with that. We'll talk about a lot of next-gen console stuff. Game prices going up. That is definitely big right now.
Long time coming, because God knows they could be more expensive.
Some people,
some
they feel
people
away.
Are really just old. Dude, N64 was $80.
Talk to him, E. Talk to him.
Like,
see, we come from that.
Like, everything's had inflation except games. Like,
except games.
Come on, these people are making picture something. I just got done playing The Last of Us. That game cost a hell of a lot more than $60. No question in my mind.
I'm with you, but there has been pushback. There's some people in my community who, they're just, very And it's going to be a good discussion on that. We'll talk about that.
Time.
Lockhart.
So much time.
And yeah, I agree, but we'll see.
You can swing that flag for me, so I'll pass that to you.
Don't worry, I got you.
Yeah.
But in fairness,
we got that.
We old because I remember them $100. I remember playing like $100 for Street Fighter 2. That's where I come from. You know what I'm saying? So I'm used to those prices, and again, that price point being at $60 for such a long time. And now next gen kind of hinting, hey, it's gonna be a little higher. So please check out for that. Definitely. You in trouble, E.
That's fine.
Okay.
I was like, I'm not backing off that. Oh, God
yeah,
damn it.
yeah, they got him. Let's go, y'all. It is fitness time with E. Here comes the subs. They have redeemed some sit-ups. I see some things. It's exercise time with E, y'all. Y'all know how we do. Let's get ready. It's COVID time. We got to work off the COVID pounds, man. That's what we do here. You know what I mean? So now, as you can see, E is in perfect form. He said, here we go. Sit-ups are in. Look at that correct form. Look at the posture. Look at the elbows hitting the knee. This is premium content, y'all. This is what you get here at The Last Word. We're keeping you fit during the pandemic. My man E got you covered anytime you want. That's all you got? It's just those? We anything is under request, you better put them in now because he's in pocket, y'all. The screen went down. I'm trying to help y'all out, man. You got the 10 sit-ups. Well, salute to y'all for getting my man E to work. He's got it popping right now. But yeah, that's all I got as far as my pockets. That's it. As far as I got with ILP this Sunday, 1 p.m. Eastern, Lord Cognito on Twitter. And of course, again, thank you for supporting lordsofgaming.net. We really appreciate the support, man. Big time. And of course, my boy, if you're into statues, if you're into comic books and stuff like that, please check out my boy King David. He has King of the Statues, tremendous piece. We love it. And of course, once again, salute Nem for coming through The Last Word, the campfire. Always fun. Fellow Warlocks. So it was always going to be love. I already knew when this day was going to happen. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. But E, what you got going on, man?
For me, so let's see, between now and next podcast. So I'm going to be on Karma's Revenge podcast Thursday night. Mm-hmm. So that's Thursday the 9th. Ooh, that'll be an evening podcast. That'll be kind of around the same time as this one. So check out theirs. I'll tweet where I'm going to be. Mm-hmm. Probably going to be working on Prophecy solo potentially this weekend.
Nice.
Ooh. Solo fall. I soloed the Cube Room.
And
I figured,
God,
Jesus, you're a beast.
So that was the random funny story. I was with my brother. He had to he's like, hey, I got to go pick something up for my wife. And I was like, and we're going through. And it's like, hey, we got the checkpoint. Cool. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'll work on it. And then it just starts coming together. And 2 runs later, I'm like, he comes back. He's like, you're done? I was like, yeah, I got that part knocked out.
Savage. I give you credit, man.
So
that's insane.
So that part, if I got the cube room, which is the one kind of there's always one bonkers room in every dungeon. And I'm always
that one is bonkers.
Died way too much. And again, you can have some crappy RNG. I watched Fallout try it today. You can have some crap RNG in that room. But I figured out where you kind of got to be on your game and where you can completely slow it down and wait, take your time.
Yeah.
And kind of manage it. And I was like, the fact that I got that one, the other hard part's going to be leading into the boss.
Yeah.
The triangle room to go into the boss. But I will say, do not underestimate Xenophage in that entire dungeon.
Oh, Xenophage is a beast.
It is a monster. The Knights 3-shots him. The snipers up top, single.
Nice.
Xenophage, mountaintop, and gnawing hunger. Yeah. That's probably what I'm going to use for almost the whole damn run.
Yeah, Xeno's definitely beast in that. I guess where I worry for you is the triangle room where the boss has each corner.
The pre-boss corners, yep.
That, and then you got to take away his positioning from one of them so that you can actually have a safe space.
Yeah, he's on all 3, and then as soon as you clear one, it's basically starting to clear the one. If you clear one, then you can work.
Yeah, that part is hard. I mean, I give you credit, man.
It's potentially something I'm going to work on. I've solo flawless the other 2, so I got to do it. And it's
but before you do all that, I've got my Outbreak Perfected solo heroic request that I'm putting in today.
Yeah, I know.
Because it might go away, and I need my catalyst. So, E, being that you get on soloing and stuff, this is my formal request. I need that damn
Chat's
catalyst.
going to need a report card afterwards. All right, guys, did you knock it out? Did you get it done? How did he do?
I'll put a little pressure on him. I need it bad. I'm so worried it's going to go away. I need that catalyst. I need my nanites to be strong. I want this thing, man. And plus, you know what it is? I bought the ornament. The Osiris ornament that make Outbreak Perfected all gold with the logo. Ooh, I need this, Eve. I need this. So when you done your little prophecy thing, don't forget me, man. This weekend, holla at your boy.
Oh, I know. Believe me, I can only do that so long. At some point, if you get some bad runs, I'll go solo. And this is what I've done with everyone. I got to do a solo run first. If I get through each encounter by itself, then it's putting one together. But I can't tell you like Chamber of Suffering and Pit.
Yeah.
When I made it through that and died, literally falling down the next section on my one of my like third or fourth solo flawless, I was like, that is like the dumbest death I've had. So I'm waiting for the ribbons to screw me again, but we'll see.
By the way, so I've soloed I've soloed. I didn't do it flawlessly, but I soloed Shattered Throne.
Yep.
And I soloed Pit of Heresy. But it didn't count it. What? Because unlike Shattered Throne, where you can leave and come
you can't
back,
leave Pit.
You cannot leave Pit.
I learned that the hard way.
I did too. I've not gone back to do it solo. Because
I had to, unfortunately. But
I ran out of raid banners right before Zolmak, and I was like, okay, let me go get some, come back, and knock this out.
Damn.
And I spent about like a solid 2.5 hours trying to take down Zolmak.
Oh,
and I spent an ungodly amount of time in the Chamber of Suffering.
Yeah, that's painful.
And then when I finished it and I didn't get the triumph, I was like,
bro, I don't wish that on nobody. That sucks. That's pain.
What just happened?
Yeah. That hurts.
And then I learned that you can't do that. So I haven't done it since.
Yeah.
I don't blame
I was like, fuck it. You know, I was like, fuck it. I did it.
You're like, I did it.
I did it.
Yeah.
I don't gotta prove it to anybody.
I'll feel you on that. Damn, that sucks,
so it's rough, dude. But I soloed it as a Voidwalker, so I was pretty. I didn't need the Well of Radiance. Yeah, I didn't need the Well of Radiance for that.
You ran Bottom Tree for it.
I ran Bottom Tree Void.
Yeah, you got that Devour. There's that health.
Yeah,
my man,
exactly.
Devour. Yeah.
You know what's my new joint though? Shout out to Ares though. I have fallen back in love with Karnstein Armulets.
Really?
Oh, let me tell you, that synergizes so well. We doing a little void lock. Keep quiet for a second. Bro, if you run that with Devour, right? Because remember, you're going to get health. Basically, it's my staying alive build. Yeah. Because all you got to do is just slap somebody, and then you get a constant regeneration. Like, if you get hit, it goes back up. It goes back up. So you proc that with Devour, and bro, you can stay alive. You don't have to necessarily crutch on Well of Radiance Solar all the time with that Void build. I'm telling you, man. I was watching Ares. You know, run to Ares. If he's in the chat, I was watching him solo. He was running Armulets during a lot of the section of the Prophecy raid, and I'm telling you that keeps you alive, man. It really does.
That's really good. I completely forgot about Karnstein. So like what I used. And this might surprise you a little bit. I ran at the time, obviously, as a Nagi for the Knights. Of course. Optative as my energy. Okay. For the hand cannon from Season of Undying, and Hammerhead for the boomers.
Of course.
But my exotic was Verity's Brow.
Really?
Yeah.
That's the one that gives you grenade energy. What does it do again? I forget.
It's grenade energy on energy weapon kills.
Yes.
So that's why I ran the hand cannon as my energy weapon. I ran the Optative just because like there was more coming at me. Right. And it was a little bit faster. So because the one that I had was Kill Clip and Outlaw. So I was constantly getting a damage buff, constantly getting my Devour up. Nice. And if I missed one, I would just consume another grenade because I constantly had that regen of grenades coming in. Right. Yeah, because it synergizes well with like, because as it is, you get grenade energy back when you kill, when you have Devour active. So if you just stack that with Verity's Brow, it's like you always have a grenade.
Yep, I get it now. And that's Devour, that's the heal. I get you. I see the vision.
So that's how I managed to get through that one.
Nice.
Yeah, apparently I'm in for like bashing my head against the wall for an entire weekend, so there's that. That's what I get to look forward to on my 4th of July weekend. So
all good, man.
Well,
sorry, bud.
No, I do it to myself. I mean, I've played since Bloodborne came out. I mean, I played OG Mega Man 2 and 3. So I mean, painful games are part of me growing up and just persistence to get through it. I hadn't played a Souls until Bloodborne came out. And then that has hooked me, and I played every single one. Like Mortal Soul, I've seen that beta coming out and still waiting to get my hands on that. But
yeah, we got shout out
like Elden Ring, and then like the Demon Souls remake. Oh, dude, I can't freaking wait for those. So
yeah,
stupidly painful stuff apparently is like what is it? Sadist would be the right term.
Masochist.
Is masochist to you? Yeah. Sadist is the one doing it to you. So masochist. Apparently. So I don't know, but it's the fun challenge because now that I've run it more a couple times, I'm getting more comfortable. When I feel like, and actually like when I got to the point where I made my whisper guide or anything, when I know it that well, I love that feeling of like, all right, here, nail this one, go over here, go. Like when you get to that level, I love that feeling of that, like understanding it that well. So that's why I like the PvE stuff. Like PvP, I'm okay, but when PvE stuff, like when it clicks, man, I love being like that skilled and being able to like take anybody through it too. So
yeah, absolutely.
Dude, Bloodborne, you mentioned Bloodborne, and I don't say this lightly about a video game ever, but if I could erase a game from my memory to re-experience it all over again, 100% it would be Bloodborne. Nice. Without skipping a beat.
Nice.
That's a damn good choice. That's my first. If that's what set me on the path. That was my first too. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, I
played that one first and then Dark Souls 3.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, both of those and then Fallen Order. I've played both Neos. I just finished Neo 2 not that long ago, which was really good. Love those. Like, it's one of those when it's programmed well, like, if you screw up, it's your fault.
It's on
you.
It's
on you because you like people can go through a flawless entire game run, and you're like, all right, if they can do that, and I've got full armor on, and they're running around with like a loincloth and doing this stuff, probably on me.
That's literally how I had to beat the Pontiff Sullivan in Dark Souls 3, bro. Like I had to get every like buff like available to me, so. Like the trick that I came to learn about the Pontiff is you can force him into doing a specific attack. So for the first half of his health, you can force him to do this lunge attack that if you learn properly, you can parry it every time. In order to do that is when the moment the fight starts, you run towards Pontiff, get that first parry. That is important. You get that first parry. And then you just keep running. You got to get distance from it because that will reset. It resets his attack pattern. So if you come back to him, he's going to do that same exact lunge attack that allows you to parry him. So with 4 parries, you're able to get them down to like slightly under half health, which triggers phase 2. Nice. And oh my god, it's just that's the sensations when you like kill a boss that's been kicking your ass for like days and weeks is so good in those games, dude.
So the final fight in Sekiro.
Oh, that looks brutal, dude.
That's a 3 or 4 phase fight. I think it's a 3 phase fight. God, that's long. That game, and that's kind of the thing. If people picked up Sekiro for the first time versus so used to playing a Dark Souls or a Bloodborne dodging technique, learning to have to break myself to learn to parry, that was one of the hardest things. But when it finally got there, it was really cool. So, all right, we're going to get off on tangent and talk for another hour about this. So, so every time we wrap up a podcast, I'm always going to kind of give like the outro info, and then we're going to say it has been, and then all together we try and say the last word. So I'm not going to say it first. I wait on you guys because I try and match it, but editing later I can fix it. So you guys have been awesome. We're going to go raid Ares. Watch this man play Trials. He's damn good. So enjoy Hollymod. But thank you guys for hanging out. Episode 110. Thank you, NemPlays. It has been a pleasure having you here. Don't end your recordings yet, by the way. Just FYI, keep those going. But yeah, seriously, it's been a pleasure. Glad we made it happen. Time and everything. We're going to let Cognito go to sleep. So for this episode, July 3rd, 110, it has been
the last word.